That's right. 97.5 The Fanatic, 97.5thefanatic.com. On the 97.5 The Fanatic app. On YouTube. Good morning, everybody on YouTube. It is Middays with Marks on 97.5 The Fanatic. John Marks, and I'd say I'm riding solo today, but that's not accurate because Ray Dunn is here. Good morning, Ray.
Good morning, Johnny. How are you?
You see that? I could be the guy that's just, Ray's just my producer. So I'm wrong. No, Ray's much more than a producer. His nose bleeds on the air. Who gives you that kind of content?
I'm a content machine back here. I don't even know it. I don't even know how I'm going to give you content today.
How about that?
All right. This is not, I promise you this, because when I came to 97.5 The Fanatic, I promised that I wasn't going to do the fake take radio that you hear a lot of in the Delaware Valley. Not doing fake take radio. And sometimes you do have to play devil's advocate because one side of an argument every day between, it's not fun. So sometimes I'll even say, hey, listen, I'm going to play the other side. But this is not fake take radio. This is honestly how I feel. And I want to know how many people agree with me. All right? The Eagles, most likely are still making the playoffs. I would say that more likely than not likely making the playoffs. So I'm not saying the Eagles aren't making the playoffs. No, I don't have a ton of confidence they're making the playoffs, but more likely than unlikely to make the playoffs. But I am at a point, and the holidays are coming up. It's December 10th. Ray and I were talking about this before the show. I have such freaking fatigue over this team right now. I really, really do. I've accepted the fact that the Eagles are not winning the Super Bowl this year. They're not winning anything this year. Can they win a playoff game? I don't care if they can win a playoff game. Sure. They make the playoffs. People are going to talk themselves into it. Hey, you never know. You're right. You never know. You never know. So I'm not saying that the team should quit or if you're a fan, you should throw in the towel. I'm not even throwing in the towel. They're not winning anything this year. And at least maybe for you, certainly for me, that it kind of just puts me at ease. Where I know it, I'm not going to drive myself crazy. I'm not necessarily going to get mad. I'll still react to games. I'll still be angry when the Eagles suck. If they lose to the Raiders, they lose to the Raiders, that I think I'll be more happy than angry. Because then it'll mean it's officially over and they're not winning anything. There's a better chance right now that this team misses the playoffs than they get back to the Super Bowl. True or false? There's a better chance this Eagles team misses the playoffs than gets back to the Super Bowl. And I'm not firing Sirianni. I'm not benching Jalen Hurts. Nick Sirianni's your coach next year. Jalen Hurts is your starting quarterback. There's nothing that's going to change that. They're both back. Now, what happens next year will happen next year. Patullo won't be here. They're going to make staff changes. They're going to make personnel changes, whatever. And we'll deal with that in the offseason, right? It is really difficult to win back-to-back Super Bowls. It's outside of the Chiefs and the Patriots. When's it been done? And the Eagles have been to 2 and 3 years, and they won one, and they very well could have won another. So I am not going to go nuclear on this organization. Howie Roseman's not being fired. Nick Sirianni's not being fired. Jalen Hurts is not being benched, although a lot of people, probably including me, will want to see Tanner McKee. I trust they're going to make the proper adjustments in the offseason so we can get back at it next year. But I've accepted the fact that the Eagles aren't winning anything this season, and I'm at peace with it. 610-632-0975. And you know what? Not that it's okay, but it's okay. Teams don't win back-to-back Super Bowls often. We saw the Chiefs. We saw the Patriots. This Eagles team, is it talented enough to win another Super Bowl? There's a reason why it's so difficult. This year, more than anything, injuries on the offensive line, ineffectiveness. The league caught up with what the Eagles were doing. Jalen Hurts' play has regressed. Kevin Patullo is not a good enough offensive coordinator. Nick Sirianni isn't able to come in and make up for Kevin Patullo's ineffectiveness. All of these things are contributing to it. But it's very, very, very difficult to win 2 Super Bowls in a row, even to get back to a second Super Bowl. What the Eagles have done in the last 3 years in getting to 2 Super Bowls and winning one is that doesn't happen often. It happened. Seattle won one. They lost one. It proves the Eagles are at the top of the NFL when you look at the pecking order and the food chain. Eagles are one of the elite franchises in the NFL, if not the elitist franchise in the NFL. The Chiefs are going to miss the playoffs this year. They had a run. It's over. The Eagles aren't done with the run. They need to retool. They need to make adjustments. They're going to end up bringing in an offensive coordinator that is outside the Nick Sirianni, whatever his offensive system is, because they need to be better in that. And then Jalen Hurts is going to have to prove that he can win without just handing the ball off to Saquon Barkley. I mean, there's a lot of questions about this team going forward. I've accepted the fact that the Eagles aren't winning anything this year. And honestly, I think it's really hard to argue with that. It's just a matter of what your reaction is to that. That it's not okay. I'm just saying it's okay. What do you want me to say? You want me to fire Nick Sirianni and get rid of everybody and bench Jalen Hurts? I'm not doing it. The Eagles aren't going to do it, and I'm not doing it. They won a Super Bowl last year. That gives them the benefit of the doubt. That gives them this season to where it's like, all right, things fell apart. Now, if they lose out, changes things a little bit. That's where Nick Sirianni's job could possibly be on the line. But I don't expect them to lose out. And could they miss the playoffs? Does Nick Sirianni get fired if they miss the playoffs? He does not. Nor should he. But major changes will be made. If they lose out and Jalen Hurts continues to look terrible, does Jalen Hurts get benched for Tanner McKee? No. Is Tanner McKee on call? Yeah. For next year, of course he is. Yeah, now you're looking at things a lot differently. But unfortunately, this Eagles team, they had a great run. They started off the season very well. The ineffectiveness of the offensive line due to injury. Lane Johnson's been out the last 3 games. When Lane Johnson doesn't play, the Eagles typically don't win. They're 0-3 without Lane Johnson. All these things are contributing to where the team is right now. They're dead. A team's dead. They're not winning anything. If they make the playoffs, do they win one playoff game? Okay, maybe. I don't know. But I'm not going to sit here and talk myself into this team's going back to the Super Bowl. And I'm at peace with it. Ray Dunn, your thoughts?
Congrats on finding peace, because I haven't.
Yes.
I'm still upset. I'm still very angry. I'm so mad because I keep going back to the defensive performance I saw Monday night. And so anytime you go 3.9 yards per play, you go 12 consecutive possessions without allowing a touchdown. Anytime I see those two things happen in a game, you generate 2 turnovers on top of that. And your offense, that is one of the most expensive, if not the most expensive offense in NFL history, can't get you enough to win that football game to get you back on track. We've seen 3 weeks now where one of, if not the most expensive offense in football history has lost you 3 consecutive games. And oh, by the way, even the games that you've won recently, pretty much out of the bye, the offense hasn't looked good. No, I can't just sit back and accept. I'm sorry. This team is too talented for me to sit back and accept it's all right. You know what? Logic points to what you're saying. Logic is very much in line with, hey, it's very difficult to go back-to-back. There are things that have worked against you. And really, hey, there's other teams that probably throughout the history of football, 8-5 at this point following a Super Bowl win, maybe they would have been like, we would take that. But for me, I can't take that right now. Living in this timeline.
Do you agree with me?
You've gotten further down the path of acceptance. I haven't got to acceptance.
But do you agree that they're not winning the Super Bowl this year?
It certainly doesn't look like it.
That they're not going to the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it.
That they're not turning the season around.
No, it doesn't feel that way.
So,
I told you my make or break game was that Chargers game. They broke me.
Right. But you're gonna, I think like a lot of Eagles fans, while you accept it, the season probably isn't going to where we want it to go. You're gonna be mad about it.
Yeah. I'm gonna be mad about it. And I think I'm gonna be mad about it for quite a while here. I don't think it's going to be, even if they lose to the Raiders, it's not a wow, this team isn't who I thought it was. All right, well, good to move on. Right now, I'm reluctantly looking at the last weekends of January to make plans with people. That pains me. I'd rather be doing a pregame show. 3 weeks ago, I was talking about, hey, I can't wait. NFC Championship game. What are we going to do postseason-wise? I was talking to Scott about, hey, what's the pregame show going to look like going into the playoffs? Now I'm like,
we were going to drive to San Francisco for the Super Bowl. Yeah. How many hours does it take to get there? That's never been done on this station. No one's ever driven across country to the Super Bowl.
That's true. Never been done.
Never been
Especially
done
not Middays. Never a Middays host. Nope, never been done.
No one's ever done it. So that'd be a first. Well, I mean, it's over. It is. It's over. And you know what? Honestly, I don't have the anger. I don't. They gave us one of the best seasons in the history of the city, in all of sports last year. And they came back this year, and they had injuries, and like a lot of teams, I don't want to say the Super Bowl hangover. It's really difficult. Now, not saying that people shouldn't be angry. I've been angry this year, sure. But this is now up to the organization to figure it out and get them back to where they were. They fell apart in 2023. They were in the Super Bowl in 2022, almost won it. Even after winning against the Patriots, they came back that next year and they were a playoff team. But you could with that team, they weren't set up to go back and win another Super Bowl. That was a team that won a Super Bowl with some mercenaries. Guys left. You had shorter term Eagles that weren't going to be there for the run. This team actually has a roster that is going to be here. Young players, sustainability. They got to get back to it. 610-632-0975. Are you with me, or are you so? It's really there's two components here. Do you believe that it's over and we just have to accept that it's over, and you're mad about it, or you say, all right, well, it's over and I'm okay with it. I don't think a lot of people are going to say that. Or do you not think it's over? Do people actually not think this is over? One person who doesn't think it's over is Rich Eisen, because he said that the Eagles fans need to relax, and there was actually some positives to take from Monday night. I can't wait to hear this. That's coming up next. It's Middays with Marks, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Philadelphia is a sports city full of
All right, we're back. Middays with Marks, 97.5 The Fanatic. John Marks, Ray Dunn. Ray furious in the producer studio because the Rich Eisen cut was not working. Ray, it's okay. It's all right. We can play it. Rich Eisen is saying that Eagles fans relax. The season's not over. And he's been saying this for a number of weeks now, and they keep losing games. So I could say the same thing. I could bury my head in the sand and not react to what we've all seen. And what we've all seen is this isn't a good football team right now. They're not. Defense is great. They didn't maybe show it against the Bears and the Cowboys. Defense is great. And they're going to continue to play well. Now, in the NFL, you're going to give up yards and you're going to give up points. That's just the nature of the league. But they're an excellent defense. So that's not a worry at all. This offense is stuck in the mud. And if you're waiting for them to figure it out, I know somebody was saying that they need to run the ball more with Saquon Barkley, Like, okay, yeah, you can do that until he's getting 2 yards a carry. Then what? They need to be able to throw the ball more. Jalen Hurts needs to be better at throwing the ball. They need to do a better job of scheming things up and making things easier for Jalen Hurts and play calling and all that other stuff. Bottom line is that for all this code that we want to talk about, Jalen Hurts isn't performing well enough. He's not. Quarterback is supposed to be the force multiplier. He's supposed to be the difference maker. And when you're not the difference maker, throw out the 4 interception performance, 5 turnover performance. Obviously, that was bad. One of the reasons why the Eagles last year were able to win so many games is even when the passing offense wasn't great and Saquon Barkley was, when they needed a big drive, Jalen was able to give that to you. Now, he looked like he was going to do that against the Chargers. He made his best throws of the game on that last drive. So I still believe in Jalen with that. Jalen Hurts is not being replaced or benched. He's the starting quarterback next year. He's earned that. But that doesn't mean that anybody should feel positive about the season turning around. You want to? Good. Do it. I don't. And I'm not going to get my hopes up and keep telling myself that everything is fine. Zach Berman's coming up later on the show, about 11:25. Nick Sirianni's going to speak to the media at 12:10. Is it? Yeah, 12:20, sorry. And, we'll hear from Sirianni. I want to hear what he has to say because a lot of times he doesn't say anything. I want to hear some substance today. I want to hear some emotion out of him today. But there's no reason to believe, based on what we've seen, the season's almost over. The regular season's almost over. At this point, the team is what it is. This offense is what it is. And if you're looking for them to be any different, just think you're making a major mistake. Let's go to the phones. Eric is calling from Fox Chase. Eric, good morning. How are you?
What's up, Johnny? I've been talking to you since the old station. How you doing, bud?
What's up, Eric?
Congratulations on coming back.
Thank you. Good to talk to you, buddy.
Well, first of all, I wanted to say I've been a huge Jalen supporter. I backed him for a while. But the last game was atrocious, Johnny.
Yep.
It really was.
Yeah.
And look, no one's above getting benched or being replaced. And look what happened with Carson Wentz. That's how he got his job. And Carson Wentz got us to a Super Bowl, whether he won it or not. He didn't play, obviously. But he helped get us there. And he was beloved in this town as well at one point.
Yeah, so it's an interesting point you make on Carson Wentz, Eric, because no one would have thought that he would have been gone when he was gone, right? And honestly, the Eagles were ready to bring him back, and Carson was the one. Thank God he's the one that said, no, I think it's better if you trade me. Thank God, because otherwise he comes back for another year, and who knows where the team is right now. But, I mean, is the play Carson Wentz-ish yet? It's getting there, isn't it?
It's getting there. I mean, look. I just want to see. I'm not saying Tanner McKee's better than Jalen Hurts. Nobody knows that. Nobody knows that yet. Maybe he is. Maybe he's not. I just want to see what the offense looks like. And is it our offense or is it Jalen?
It's Jalen's offense. It's Jalen's offense. And you've had 4 offensive. You've had 4 offensive coordinators come through with Jalen, and every one of them runs this run-heavy, non-motion offense, right? Is that because they want to run a boring offense, or is that because they think they're doing what's best for the quarterback and the team?
And part of the problem, Johnny, is that Jalen's not running this year.
No.
That's what makes Jalen, okay? His ability to get outside the pocket and take off. There was times in that game, in the Chargers game, where if he was more decisive, he could have taken off and got us like 10 yards. And those 10 yards were huge in certain situations.
Yeah.
I mean, Herbert did it with a broken hand.
Yep.
I just don't understand why he's not running.
Well, Eric, appreciate it. I think quarterbacks, when they develop, naturally you start running less. Even quarterbacks that are dangerous with their legs, when you get injured and you're taking shots outside of the pocket when you're running, you want to be healthy. And when you're a quarterback, you want to be able to throw the ball. I think the word that you said that makes the most sense is he's indecisive, where he's dropping back, and instead of saying, okay, the pocket's collapsing, let me run, instead he gets happy feet and he kind of starts dancing around. And a lot of times he's moving right into a sack. And if he was decisive and took off, then he probably would get some positive yards. But he's not staying in the pocket long enough. He's not stepping up in the pocket. He's not operating as a quarterback well enough this year. Let's just say it. He's not. I'm not bringing any news here. He's not. He's not performing well enough as a quarterback this year. We've seen him do that at times. You know when he's willing to run the ball and he's willing to take off? When you have the drive. Do you remember the Colts game? What year was that?
22, I think.
22, where the offense was awful the entire game. But it was close. It was awful the entire game. And the last drive of the game, they needed a touchdown or they needed a score. Might have even been the last 2 drives. They were down multiple possessions. He just started taking off and running. And they ended up winning the game. I still feel like that given that circumstance, he says, all right, well, any means necessary. This is what I have to do right here. I can't hate on a quarterback that is trying to become is trying to do more passing than running around, especially when you've had some injury stuff. But we're at a point this year where he's got to be more of a factor in the running game. He's not throwing the ball well enough. So if you can't throw the ball well enough and you can't operate as a passer well enough, then you got to do what makes you dangerous, which is be a part of the running game. What do we have? Do we have a couple of text messages out there Ray?
Yeah, we do. We got unnamed text here from Kansas. Not mad at losing or winning. I'm mad at the inability to make changes. Last several weeks have been the definition of insanity. If the season continues to tank, Hurts gets injured and Tanner gets the snaps.
With each week, you're going to hear more of that. Honestly, the worst thing for the team right now is for Jalen Hurts to get injured and Tanner McKee play. You know why? Because I think Tanner McKee comes in and the offense looks, obviously it would have to look totally different, and they may even look rejuvenated. But you know what happens after players start playing? Then the league makes adjustments. So then everybody's going to see that one glimpse of Tanner McKee and be like, he's the answer. And that's when you have a quarterback controversy, and that's a problem.
Yeah, and if you play against the Raiders versus playing against the best passing offense in football, it's going to look real different.
Right.
I mean, that's the thing about this week. If everyone wants to call for benching Hurts for McKee, McKee's going to be given the gift to the Raiders after you just played the best passing defense in all of football.
Right. Yeah, they're like, it's hard for me to even have that conversation because they're not benching Tanner McKee. Or they're not benching Jalen Hurts. They're not. Could it even get bad enough this year to where they would bench him? No, it can't. To where they would think about moving on from him, or like what it would do is next year now he's on the clock. And now there's a real chance if he struggles, he could get benched. We'll come back, 610-632-0975. Jalen Hurts. Colin Cowherd said he believes Jalen Hurts is a circumstantial quarterback. What does that mean, and do you agree? We have that for you coming up next, Middays with Marks.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
No beats up. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. It's brought to you by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey. Tullamore Dew, when it's game time, it's Tully time. The Phillies signed Kyle Schwarber to a 5-year, $150 million contract yesterday. Jason Stark joined Unfiltered to talk about everything going on at the winter meetings and spoke about what Schwarber brings to the table.
This had to happen. He was the centerpiece of their entire offseason. You know, they had to send him out there into the free agent market to try to figure out what's he actually worth, because there's nobody comparable to him. There's nobody like him, really, in the history of the sport.
And they're going to have him now for 5 more seasons with $150 million committed to him. The Phillies apparently have also extended an offer out to JT Realmuto, still awaiting his decision as he continues to mull through free agent options. Phillies yesterday also extended Rob Thompson through the end of the 2027 season. We're still reacting to everything going on with the Birds following their 3rd consecutive loss to the Chargers today. Nick Sirianni will meet with media at 12:20. We'll carry that one for you. Also get a chance to talk to Zach Bourbon coming up in the 11 o'clock hour about everything going on with the Eagles. This update's also brought to you by Allstate. Some people just know you could save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate. Operates on your home for the Sixers, Flyers, and the best Birds talk in town. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
he is a circumstances quarterback. If the O-line's perfectly healthy, if the offensive coordinator is great, if Saquon Barkley is having an amazing night or season, if the defense is number one like last year, he's really successful. Justin Herbert's doing it with no ifs. I like Jalen Hurts. Intangibles A++. But the Eagles have now lost 5 straight games when they asked Jalen Hurts to just throw 30 times. Just 30.
That's Kyle Cowherd. We're back middays with Marks. Justin Herbert's playoff record, 0-2. Don't give me the Justin Herbert crap. All right, I don't want to hear it. Everything that he said about Jalen Hurts is fair. Everything he said, it's fair. Don't give me Justin Herbert. 0-2 playoff record. I don't want to hear it. What's the big game Justin Herbert's won? Oh, it was him. Oh, well, you didn't have a good enough head coach. Okay, yeah, you're probably right. Brandon Staley's a bad head coach. 0-2 playoff record. So now he's going to start winning. He's going to win a playoff game. One, before I start hearing about this crap. But what he said about Jalen Hurts, if you take that out, what he said about Jalen Hurts, like, all right, that was what a lot of people said about Jalen. He's got to have great offensive line, Saquon Barkley, everything else, and he can win. Okay, and he did win. But this year, the offensive line has problems, and you can't run the ball, and he's not able to be a good enough throwing quarterback to where he can pick the team up. And it's true. Can you argue with that point, Ray?
My biggest issue at that point is how many quarterbacks in football right now are above that? Like, if that's your criticism of Jalen Hurts, how many quarterbacks are above circumstantial success?
I mean, I would have to go through each one.
I think it's the tier of 4. I mean, I think it's, again, you go to those 4, and even amongst those 4, when you go to the Mahomes, Jackson, Burrow, Allen group, you could pick holes in each 4 of those as well. I'm not saying that Hurts is on their level, but circumstantially, outside of those 4, I can't really point to a quarterback right now that I say, they don't have this. No, they're a great quarterback.
Jalen's a winner, right? I know a lot of times you throw that out there, and it's just like, well, it's such a cliche. He's a winner. In big spots, he comes up big. He gives you drives. They find ways to win. He finds ways to win. He has not been able to do that during this stretch, right?
Right.
I also don't pay close enough attention to other teams to really break this down. I just don't think you can argue with when Jalen Hurts needs to be a throwing quarterback. He's done it in the Super Bowl, but this year he hasn't been able to do it. He just hasn't. I mean, so, like, who are we talking about here? Like Joe Burrow?
Yeah, Burrow's in that 4.
Joe Burrow has also been to one Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Right? Josh Allen. When they don't run the ball, when they don't have a running game, Josh Allen doesn't make the Super Bowl. It's a complex discussion.
Yeah.
But if you keep it simple, if Jalen Hurts has to throw the ball over 30 times a game, they're not likely to win. Right?
Sure.
When he throws the ball over 40 times, what's his record?
I think what, now 0-6?
Right.
Yeah, but I think if you go across football, any team that throws the ball over 40 times statistically is more likely to lose because your attempts go up when you're losing.
That's not true. Bill Colarulo did the he had it on the show yesterday. He did the
0-6 record thing.
He did well. He had heard that, so he said, okay. I actually texted him to see, or even have him like call in. He did if you throw over 40 times a game, a lot of people will say, well, it means you're playing from behind, and that's why you don't do it. Not necessarily the case.
I don't think it applied to them on Monday night. Like, he played a bad game. I'm just saying to the larger picture of when they throw the ball 40 times. When have the Eagles really wanted to throw the ball 40 times? When Sirianni got here?
But why is that?
Part of it goes to the quarterback, of course. Part of it goes to – well, you had Saquon Barkley having an incredible season last year.
Okay, but now he's not.
Now he's not. And we've been seeing throw the ball here.
And now the offensive line's banged up. And I saw people in the YouTube chat saying this. The offensive line's been bad. Pass protection, the offensive line has not been bad. We haven't had, like, Justin Herbert, that offensive line was bad.
That was bad.
I've not seen a game where Jalen Hurts literally was, okay, he had no shot. He was under pressure the entire time.
No.
Maybe there's been some games where he's been more pressure than not. The offensive line pass blocking has been fine.
Right.
It's been fine this year. So I don't want to hear about the offensive line as far as pass protection. They're not winning these games because he's incapable of operating in a passing offense the way that a lot of teams are. Period. And you can blame that on Kevin Patullo, and that, you know what? He's part of it. I'm fine with that. At what point do we blame the guy making $2 million a year as opposed to the quarterback making $50 million a year?
One of the comparisons that was thrown out was the Wentz one today. And I think when we went back to the Carson Wentz experience, we had that conversation about, well, when Carson was coached hard, that was when he was at his best. When Carson was challenged, what was that? The whole
John DeFilippo.
Yeah, that was the whole back and forth with the two of them. Well, Hurts, if we all say this is his offense, the last time this offense really used the middle of the field, really used motion, and he had his best season was 2022. Hurts got the payday. Things were pushed in Hurts' direction of this is going to be Hurts' offense. And what have we seen over the last 3 years? We've seen 3 offenses where it's they don't use the middle of the field. This passing game seems inconsistent. I get it. He's the quarterback. You gave him a lot of money, and he's the commitment to him. You want to cater things to the way he wants things to go. At some point, it has to be not about catering to what his needs are and what he feels his needs are. It's catering to what needs to happen to win the football game.
How about this? You can be the Super Bowl MVP, and this statement can be true. He has to play a lot better. Not even better, a lot better. Even though I will say the reason why this team isn't having the same success is the offensive line can't run block and Saquon Barkley can't run like he did last year. And that's true, but that doesn't let Jalen Hurts off the hook.
No.
He's got to be better. He's not going to be the quarterback of this team very much longer. And I'm not talking about this year, benching him this year. He will not be the quarterback of this team very much longer if he doesn't develop and improve as a passer. True or false?
Much longer is in what? You're saying 2028?
I'm talking about he's on the forget about Tanner McKee. I'm talking about he's on the clock next year. He can't play like this next year. He can't operate as a passer like this next year. You can't lean on having a dominant offensive line and having a 2,000-yard rusher every year. That's a once-in-a-lifetime type thing. You have to operate as a passer more. You just do.
Yeah. I mean, if we assume they're going to move on from Patullo, if you move on from Patullo after this season, you bring in a new offensive coordinator, and a new offensive coordinator comes in 3 or 4 years, your offense looks totally out of rhythm and inconsistent, and the 1 year it doesn't is the year that someone runs for 2,000 yards, yeah. After that year, you're going to be like, all right, what happens here?
And also, the Carson Wentz comparison, I get it, because I used the whole, he didn't want to be coached tough, he didn't really like DeFilippo, anybody else that came in. Like with Press Taylor, or was it Groh? I guess it was Press Taylor. Press Taylor worked for him. It wasn't the other way around. Because when he's a position coach or a young coach and Carson Wentz becomes Carson Wentz, he's not telling Carson Wentz what to do. Carson Wentz is telling him what to do. That's bad, and I'm not saying that's what Jalen Hurts did, but Carson Wentz was also a very small sample size. He was lightning in a bottle, and he was fantastic. But then his body broke down, and then his problems became mental. And once they made an adjustment to Carson Wentz had nothing. He was playing hero ball. And guess what? Carson Wentz hasn't been jack squat since, 2019? Was that the year they made the playoffs? And even then he was struggling.
The last month of the season, that December, where they win, 4 in a row?
And it got him to the playoffs, and then they lost to Seattle, and he had the concussion, and that was it. He was done. And this is six years later, he's barely in the league. Mm-hmm. Carson Wentz. And you saw what he was like this year. He's still getting busted up during games. I mean, he's not Jalen Hurts is not getting benched this year. He's the starting quarterback next year. You don't think he has to perform better as a throwing quarterback next year, or his job is going to be on the line? This year, there's the mulligan. This year, he's a Super Bowl MVP, and that's how he should be treated. You're not going to bench him. Next year, if we're halfway through the season next year and teammates are complaining about him and there's news stories out there about he can't run the offense and he's not doing this, he's not doing that, it's going to be a mess.
Well, point blank, if your MO is being a winner and you're not winning, then we have to ask the question about you. Like the last 3 weeks you've lost,
all right,
and you've been a big part of it.
Coming up, did you like the offense on Monday night? Dan Orlovsky actually did. We'll let him explain what he's talking about coming up next. And we'll have Phillies talk coming up at 10:55 because we do have to talk about the Phillies. And we want to talk about the Phillies today. Middays with Marks, 97.5 The Fanatic.
discouraged from the Eagles offense last night than I was many games this year.
From the play calls, the offense, or not Jalen? Just the play calls or everything?
Just the play calls, the style of offense they got. They were way more scheme diverse. They had way more route options. There were guys open more consistently last night than there have been all season.
Dan Orlovsky, and of course, with Pat McAfee, you could mistake those beautiful pipes. All right, we're back.
Oh, what, you like the scheme?
Yeah. By the way,
we love Nick Sirianni here.
It's a one-hit wonder Wednesday. All the songs you'll hear coming back were one-hit wonders. I don't even know who sings this song. Do you know what a one-hit wonder is?
Yeah.
I asked Brandon Dutz, our YouTube producer, who's 21. No idea. They don't have one hit. Everything's a one-hit wonder these days, right?
I would say everything. A lot of things.
Well, why didn't he know what a one-hit wonder was?
I don't know. I mean, that's a really tough miss for a 21-year-old. Like, I have plenty of pop culture things that have holes here, but one-hit wonder I feel like is a normal.
It's more of a 90s and 80s and 90s and an early 2000s thing, I guess.
Because you just...
A lot of one-hit wonders in the 90s.
A lot of one-hit wonders now.
Is there?
Yeah, because I would tell you there's a lot of music that you hear that I'll never know who wrote it. And I'll never take the time to go figure out who the artist was.
Oh, you're too busy doing Temple basketball with Fran Dumphy.
Yeah, great time last night.
On ESPN Plus. All right, so what he had said, what Dan Orlovsky said was that he went back and he was like really happy with the scheme and everything else and blah 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 blah. I thought in the first half you saw more motion, you saw more creativity. He said he saw more open guys than normal. I see open guys routinely. People put all the plays on Twitter. So I see that. He looks at the film, so I don't know. I mean, was it a step in the right direction? I mean, they lost. I don't know. I don't care. They lost. The quarterback had 5 turnovers. So he's going to play better. I thought the whole thing was that, Patula's got to do a better job. They got to do a better job. Okay, they did. And the quarterback didn't play better. So I'm just so tired of blaming it. Even like yesterday after the show, I had more people DMing me being like, you got to stop blaming Jalen, Patullo. Like, who obsesses over the offensive coordinator and doesn't look at the quarterback? Be like, he sucks right now. He does. You're able to be a Super Bowl winning quarterback who was the Super Bowl MVP and deserved every single drop of that Super Bowl MVP. Played great. Did in the previous Super Bowl. We all know this. Can we stop saying it? And then you say, like, he has sucked this year. He really has. And that's okay to say. I'm not benching him. So it's a matter of now, do you actually think that they can turn it around? Do you, Ray? See, this is more hope. This is more hope than anything. Anybody that thinks they can turn the season around.
Yeah, my hope is that they could turn the season around. What my eyes have shown me is this is what this team is. They're a talented group that's not going to be able to pick itself up off the mat. They've had injuries. I don't believe in the offensive play caller. And honestly, Orlovsky, yesterday when we came in, like the way I felt was the offense tried to do different things. They tried some different stuff. I didn't walk away from that game thinking, wow, coaching-wise, that was a big mistake for them.
No, I didn't either. But by the way, A.J. Brown had big drops.
Yep.
Right? That's something that also needs to be mixed in. One of the interceptions wasn't on Jalen. At least one of them wasn't on Jalen. That went off the hands of A.J. Brown. Like, there's a lot of things that go into losing a game like that. But the quarterback's going to be better. We honestly, I'm fine with just stopping with that. Yeah. Starting and stopping with that. The quarterback's got to be better.
We don't have to dance around that. That's the fact. On a Monday night, that's the fact.
I don't know, man. People still have a lot of excuses for Jalen Hurts. A lot of excuses. Way too many Patullo, all the other stuff.
If you want to look at the season at large and the big picture here, I'm okay with talking, okay, Hurts has had this work against him. Hurts has had that work against him. Guess what? Monday night, if your takeaway from Monday night was anything other than Jalen Hurts needs to be better, then I think you have just lost yourself in defending the guy. And that comes from someone that's defended him plenty. That comes from someone that literally going into that game Monday night, my biggest thing, obviously, that I wanted them to win the football game. I was concerned about how that game was going to shape what we talked about in May. I figured when the quarterback list came out in May and we were doing all the offseason chatter, I was like, man, that game in LA is going to be the Hurts-Herbert, who's 6, who's 7, how we get down that path. Like, that's going
6,
to be...
7?
Yeah, I set you up for that one. I appreciate that. Realized as soon as I said it. But, like, that was what we were setting up for that game.
Right.
Because it was always going to be a narrative-based game for those two quarterbacks. I thought on Monday night's broadcast, Aikman did a beautiful job of just not flat out telling you that Hurts was having a terrible night, but just showing you how he was having a bad night.
You're right.
He kept saying, oh, I don't know. I mean, Goddard's right there. You could take that one. Or I know this would be a tough play for a quarterback, but he's got someone here. He could have made it easier on himself. He went through that time and time again. And it's not because Troy Aikman hates Jalen Hurts. I don't think Troy Aikman would hate Jalen Hurts because Aikman played on a great team, won a lot, and got himself to the Hall of Fame. Troy Aikman hates Jalen Hurts, probably hates a little bit of himself. So I don't think he's sitting out there and saying, hey, wow, this guy really stinks. I think he's trying to be like, hey, this is where things could go better for the Eagles. Because Monday night, my takeaway wasn't that's a poorly designed offense. That's a quarterback that could not run the offense in that game.
Yeah, very well said. And I agree with you. I think Aikman definitely pointed out the obvious struggles without sounding like, because you know what happens. Collinsworth gets blasted for doing this. It sounds like they're being negative and you're against the team. And you didn't get that feeling for Aikman at all. As being a former quarterback, I think he also realizes that, like there are going to be open receivers and like sometimes you're going to miss them and there's reasons why you miss them. You can have an open receiver out in the flat or wherever, but if you have someone in your face, you're not going to see him. So there's reasons why guys are open a lot of times. The Dallas Goedert, where he missed Dallas Goedert, where he was wide open because he went to Devontae Smith. Well, okay, Devontae Smith was the obvious throw there. The problem was there was miscommunication. He's not going to see Dallas Goedert once he decides he's going to Devontae Smith on this.
And it's not like he threw it at triple coverage. Like, again, you said it. There was miscommunication.
By the way, and I was someone that said, get your playmakers the ball, get A.J. Brown the ball more. Since he's been much more involved in the offense, Devontae Smith hasn't, and they've lost all the games. Right?
Yep.
So, yeah, AJ's looked great. Had some bad drops. So I don't think he was great on Monday night, but it feels like Devontae's missing a little bit too much from the offense.
And going into Monday night, Goddard had 6 catches over the last 3 games combined.
Yeah. Goddard looked great on Monday night, too. Lane Johnson also. Eagles without Lane Johnson, 15-27. This has been well documented. When Lane Johnson doesn't play, the team struggles. They're 0-3 this year without Lane Johnson. He left in that Lions game, right? He was injured in the Lions game. Since then, 3 games, 3 losses. So is that coincidence? I think not. For whatever reason, when Lane's in there, go figure. He's a Hall of Fame right tackle. They're better. And I don't think Fred Johnson's done a poor job. For being a backup, you don't notice Fred Johnson's getting beat again. But, for whatever reason, when Lane's not in there, they struggle to win games. Back years.
I don't know if I qualify as the offensive line coach on this one, so I can't give you an exact reason why it happens. At this point, we've got enough of a sample size where it does happen. I don't know if I walked away, though, Monday night like, man, that team needed Lane Johnson.
No, I agree.
Again, it's happened 3 weeks in a row where they've lost, so there has to be something to it, and it's been that way since his career started. Coming into this stretch, I thought we kind of did that stat for the last couple of years. At this point, I can't really fight what's happening in front of me.
It's happening again. All right, let's get some Phillies conversation going. Kyle Schwarber, 5 years, $150 million. There were numerous other teams that were involved. What were their offers? We'll give you that coming up next. And also, Todd Zalecki says there's an offer out to JT Realmuto. Is this the next signing that is primed to happen soon? And some other thoughts. What's the lineup going to look like, and what other moves are going to be made? All your Phillies conversation is coming up right after this. Middays with Marks, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
I'm Heat from Orlando. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. The winter meeting's going on down in Orlando right now for Major League Baseball, and the Phillies, they got the big domino to start this offseason for Major League Baseball. The Phillies signing Kyle Schwarber to a 5-year, $150 million contract yesterday as they lock in the designated hitter to a long-term deal. Jason Stark was on with Unfiltered yesterday talking about everything going on down there in Orlando, talking about what else the Phillies could be up to.
In order for them to do more, they need to free up some money. And that means there's incentive to make trades on multiple levels, not just to avoid running it back, but to create a little more payroll flexibility.
Part of the running it back might be bringing back JT Realmuto. Reports are there's an offer out for him from the Phillies. Phillies also extending Rob Thompson an extra season on his contract. Nick Sirianni, speaking of coaches, will speak to the media coming up at 12:20. Eagles, of course, on a 3-game slide. Zach Berman of The Athletic will join us coming up at 11:25. Talk about everything going on with the Birds. This update is brought to you by Batteries Plus. Dead car battery experts at Batteries Plus can replace it in about 20 minutes. Want longer battery life? Ask about their premier installation. Batteries Plus, the experts in charge. I'm Ray Downey, your home for the Sixers Flyers, the best Birds talk in town. 97.5 The Fanatic, 97.
Middays with Marks, 97.5 The Fanatic on a one-hit wonder Wednesday. Everybody in the club getting tipsy. You like this one, Ray?
I do like this one.
I do too. When I actually started as a producer here, I think is when this show was coming out or the song came out. And I didn't even have the lyrics to it. I just had the instrumental. And I would play it as a bed underneath stuff. Everybody in the club getting tipsy.
It's a great song.
So
if I was to do one of the fake, we're going to put together an album, I would do some sort of sing along to this.
Like this?
Yeah. Because I think it would sound funny coming from my voice trying to do the everybody in the club, doing that, because I sound terrible trying to sing along to this song, but I love this song.
Could I whisper? You know how you have the whisper part of it? He goes, everybody in the club getting tipsy. Everybody in the club getting tipsy. Here it comes. That would be my part, and you would do is this Jaquan? Who is this?
Yes, it is Jaquan.
Jaquan, all right.
A nice one-hit wonder.
You have too many good ideas. That's a great idea to come up with a Ray album where you and I'm the backup.
I'm telling you, outside of sports, content machine, nosebleeds, albums. Problem is in sports talk radio. It was a really tough decision for me.
Well, listen, you got to choose, right? You got to choose your path going forward. All right, Kyle Schwarber back to the Phillies. We know that. Last night, late afternoon, it came out with some other offers that were out there for Kyle Schwarber. The Reds, according to Rosenthal and some other people, 5 years, 125. I had said this over and over and over again. If you want the player, you got to go over the top to get the player. If you're just trying to say, okay, well, this is the best offer we can give them, and we hope that it's whatever. Not that 5 for 125 is a horrible offer, but $25 million a year. So I don't know, did they really want him? I think they wanted him, but they wanted him at their price. That's generally not how you're going to get a player. Now, the Orioles, and the story goes that the Orioles offered him 5 for 150. Schwarber's camp came back and said, this is the offer from the Orioles. You need to match that, or we're going to take it. And they matched it. So I guess the Phillies told him, go out, get some offers, set the market, and then come back to us. Orioles, that's a good offer. But it's also an offer you had to figure the Phillies were gonna match, correct?
Yeah. I mean, $30 million, we spent all summer around there. We spent all summer, honestly, thinking it was 35.
Or
a
even
lot of
more.
people thought it was going to be something more than that. So
take me inside the Orioles' brain making that offer. That, hey, this is what we're willing to do. If he goes back to the Phillies with it, fine. But this is – because if you want the player, you want the player. So if that means you go 6 years, then go 6 years. That means you're going 35 a year, go 35 a year. But all of the offers to me felt like these were offers they knew that Schwarber was going to refuse or the Phillies were going to match, right?
yeah, feels like just take money out of the Phillies' pocket.
Yeah.
Like just say, make sure he gets up to 30 with the Phillies. Somebody make sure he does that. For the Orioles, the Philly free agent that makes the most sense for you isn't Kyle Schwarber anyways. So just make sure that the Phillies end up paying $30 million and that you can go grab whoever you want out of that pack.
The Pirates offered 4 for 120, $30 million a year. That's a huge offer from the Pirates. But again, to go to the Pirates, I'll bring up this comparison. When Fox got the NFL away from CBS, got the NFC games away from CBS. This is 1994. Fox it was barely a network. They'd Married with Children, Inside Herman's Head, The Simpsons. They didn't even have programming every day of the week. And they said, you know what? To get these games, we're going to have to come off the top rope and go so over the top, the NFL's not going to be able to say no. They made him an offer they couldn't refuse. If they offered $5 million more than CBS, guess what the NFL is going to do? Go back to CBS. CBS, not CBS.
Go CBS too.
I like CBS. But so the Pirates, while it's like, oh, well, that's so cool, the Pirates put in a big offer. They had to know this was an offer Kyle Schwarber was going to refuse.
Yeah. I mean, and
I just don't get it.
This whole Pirates reporting all off season, not that Philadelphia market cares too much about it, but it's so disingenuous. Like the reporting, the number of insiders that, well, the Pirates could have spent this summer.
It felt fake.
Or this winter. The Pirates spending reports to me there are a number of organizations that are going to be somewhere in the crosshairs of Major League Baseball's Players Association.
Right.
These reports all feel like to serve the purpose of the Pirates. So, hey, go look at the Marlins. They were in the playoffs in 2023, and now they stink. Maybe they are the ones that are not spending. Or how about those Rays? Or The A's are playing in a AAA ballpark right now. You should go talk to them. It just kind of feels like
We're trying.
yeah, like when the person comes up to your door trying to tell you something or sell you something, you're like, hey, the neighbor over there, I think would be interested in what you're selling. Like, that's kind of what it is. Get off of my lawn. Get off of my property. Go talk to someone else.
Yeah, because, it's so cute. The Pirates offered 4 for 120. If I was a Pirate fan, I'd be pissed because they made him an offer. They had to know that Kyle Schwarber wasn't taking that offer.
Right.
If you really want the player, you make an offer. So, for example, the Mets, according to reports, offered him 3 years, $120 million. So $40 million a year. That's a real offer. Now, would I expect Kyle Schwarber to take that? No, because they're always going to want 150 over 120, even if the years. But it's intriguing. $40 million a year for 3 years. You can make the case. You go back out on the market. You're 36 years old, and you get another shot at a big contract. Ultimately, he wasn't going to go to the Mets over the Phillies for 3 years. But at least that's an offer you can say, it's a good try by the Mets. They offered him $40 million a year.
Yeah. Like, in his perspective, you're going to get 5 from the Phillies. If you think you have 6 years of baseball left in you, maybe you take that 3-year contract from the Mets and think maybe you get a 1 or 2 year deal that gets you to exactly the Phillies' money, and then that 6th year you might be making the same deal. Like, there's a financial sense to it. I really do a question. If it wasn't the Mets, and it was 3 years, 120 to someone else, where it wasn't the chief rival of the team you were just on, where you've had your best 4 years, if it's more intriguing. Like,
It'd be tough.
I feel like there was a Mets tax here. Like, the Mets had to spend a little bit more than that if they were really going to be a player for Schwarber.
All right, if they went 5 for 200, does he take it?
It'd be crazy not to, right?
If they go 5 for 180, does he take it? Or do the Phillies match?
I think the Phillies probably match in that case.
It just wasn't a big enough contract for him to do it. Because to your point, man, like going to the Mets, you're beloved in Philadelphia. You've had your best success in Major League Baseball in Philadelphia. They're offering you, market-wise, a great contract. The Mets are going over the top. That's where I think the Phillies have to not meet them halfway, but you come close and then you point out cost of living, taxes, and things like that. It's a lot more expensive to live and play in New York City. And he probably comes back here. To me, it's a good offer, but it's not enough to have Schwarber do it.
Right. There's not enough there, because even the 3 years in New York, you'd have to win something to be remembered as a Met. Like, your core memory of you is probably right now as a Philly, even if he left. Like, if he went and spent 5 years in Baltimore, unless Baltimore wins something,
It's 5 years in Baltimore.
Yeah, his best time has been in Philadelphia. He did win a World Series with the Cubs, was drafted by the Cubs, but ultimately, his best years have come in Philadelphia. Even if he had left, I feel like he would have been remembered a Philly.
Well, now he will be remembered as a Philly because as it stands right now, Kyle Schwarber is going to challenge for 500 home runs as a Philly. Austin Jones had looked it up. We talked about this before. I think he would have to average 32 home runs over the course of this contract to hit 500, which it's very doable. If he stays healthy, he's going to come close. And then he can even play deeper into, maybe he doesn't do it here, but, John Middleton, that's got to be part of it. He knows that Kyle Schwarber is going to be hitting home runs in Citizens Bank Park, and he's got a shot to hit 500. Also, he's a potential Hall of Famer. If he goes in the Hall of Fame, guess who he's going in as? A Philly. He's going to be known as a Philly. So, that means something. You're talking about a Hall of Famer, another Philly in the Hall of Fame, induction speech, the whole weekend, a sea of red out there. He's known as a Philly and is a Hall of Famer. That's worth some extra money.
For the next 3 years, if he averages 38 homers a season, let's not put it at 40, he gets himself one. He's going to end up retiring with the third most homers in club history, having not started his career here. But even then, he's going to have a 7-year stretch where he's probably the preeminent non-Shohei Ohtani DH in the National League. He's going to have played in this era where it's so much about the long ball and so much about on base. He's going to be remembered as someone that's kind of the face of this analytics movement, like in baseball, because the 3 true outcomes is Kyle Schwarber. I think that's going to mean something. He's also a good guy. I think the Hall of Fame case for him gets built over the next 3 years. The Phillies have to do something also to help him out there in terms of winning. But it gets built over the next 3 years because he will go down if he gets close to 500 home runs as one of the great power hitters of his time, someone that got better into his 30s. Mm-hmm. And if Ohtani wasn't around,
he would have won the MVP.
He's an MVP. He's a Silver Slugger probably the last 4 seasons.
He led the league in
Or 3 last 4.
RBIs. He wasn't doing anything close to that before he came here. He led the majors in RBIs last year in addition to 56 home runs. So he's not just he's developed into more than just the strikeout, walk, home run guy. But yeah, like you're right. Like that's almost what you signed, which was all right, he might hit 210, but he's got a high on-base percentage because he's great at the plate with walks, and yeah, he's going to strike out a lot. He's developed even more of that as a player. All right, we'll come back. Jason Stark joined Unfiltered yesterday, talked about what the Phillies need to do to give themselves an ability to shake things up. And Zach Berman's going to join us with some Eagles stuff. As Nick Sirianni will carry it live, we'll speak at 12:20. Zach Berman, 11:25. Phillies conversation coming up next. Middays with Marks, 97.5 The Fanatic.
don't wanna be
So you got to stick around for the hook. That's really what everybody knows. This is Lou Bega or Lou Vega? Vega. Takes too long to get to the hook. A little bit of honor in my life. This is the definition of a one-hit wonder. One-hit wonder Wednesday. There it is. A little bit of Tina's what I need. All right, Zach Brentman coming up here at 11:25. Nick Sirianni speaking. Zach is one of the longtime scribes on the beat, and I'll be curious to get his temperature of the team right now.
Does he expect the bunny when he goes into the locker room this week?
Yeah, I got to ask him about the bunny. No, the bunny, I think the bunny talk's dead, even though Sean's daughter's bunny's still here. Yeah, no bunny talk. I'm out with the bunny talk. All right, back into the Phillies conversation. We have Jason Stark. Jason Stark on Unfiltered yesterday. Love Jason, the best baseball voice in the entire nation, but he's right from Bucks County, Pennsylvania. Here's Jason Stark yesterday.
Again, a lot was dependent on Schwarber. Guys have seen the names of the available outfielders. The right-handed hitting outfield market is so bad. Adolis Garcia would be a budget free agent, for example. He's not a trade, but he got non-tendered. I mean, I guess that's something to file away. He would be a reclamation project. Luis Robert Jr. is a guy who has been associated with the Phillies for a couple of years now. The White Sox would love to move him. I don't know what he is. I don't know if anybody knows what he is. He's been brutal for 2 years in a row, but he was a 30-30 guy once with big tools. Put him in a better atmosphere. Maybe he's better. But I think they're looking at that buy-low reclamation project types with big upside and put them into the mix of a team built to win with a lot of professional players and see what can happen. There's just so many moving parts, Bill. It's really hard to forecast where this will be.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if that happened. There's been very little dot connecting with him. And he's Jason said he's been brutal for 2 years. I don't want anything to do with him. He would solve the center field problem, or he could be a problem in center field, which is more likely. So here's how I think it plays out. Todd Zalecki's reporting there's an offer on the table to JT Realmuto. 2 years. Did you see the same number? 2 years, $30 million? Mm-hmm. Doesn't seem like there's a team out there that wants to give him 3. Maybe somebody puts their thumb on the scale thinking that the Phillies will match it, which they probably would. But then they could also get stuck with 3 years of JT Realmuto, which the Red Sox are a name that's being connected with JT.
A lot.
Yeah. So it's...
Which... The fact that he's not back with the offer floated out there, again, it's early. These things take time. But it shows you, I think he's got a little more in, like, I want this.
Agreed.
I want that third year. I always thought marrying the end of him to the end of Zach Wheeler was the best case, and that's a 2-year deal. So
the problem with JT is what's the alternative? You're going to make a trade for somebody. Marshawn's your starting catcher. That's not a good idea. Because you're so married to this window right now trying to win, you almost need to keep him. He's a right-handed bat. I know that he's not the hitter that he once was. He's still a right-handed bat. That's the biggest weakness on this offense.
Right. It's just how much good is left there.
Enough. And if you have to do 3 years. I mean, what do I care? I don't know. They almost have to do it. So that's Todd Zalecki offer on the table. I would expect that sooner rather than later. But if they were to sign JT, and let's say that they sign him for $15 million a year, that would leave you with about $10 million. If you look at what they spent last year and what they could be willing to spend this year, it leaves them about $10 million. With $10 million, it's going to be nearly impossible to solve your outfield problem. So this has been talked about. I've said this a lot. And now it's being talked about. I know Matt Gelb in his Athletic article said this. Strom and Bohm could be moved. Bohm is being used as a trade chip, not necessarily to get all these great players, but to move the salary. Get something that can contribute to your Major League roster, and now you have $10 million more to use on an outfielder. Strom is a good player. You have 2 other lefty relievers in your pen. He makes $7.5 million. So between those 2 players, it's almost $18 million that you then would have to use in salary Strom will get you something in return, too. You might be able to get an outfielder for Strom. So I think the most likely scenario is Strom and Bohm get moved and they sign somebody via free agency with that money.
And I'm not against moving Strom. I know he's been consistent for you. I do think you've kind of run him into the ground the last couple of years with the amount that you've used him versus everyone else. And part of that came with the Alvarado suspension. So I'm not against moving on from him. I thought Seattle made sense as someone to partner up with the Phillies, just looking at what they could give up. Obviously, the catcher, Ford, they move on from ridiculously, to me, low sell for what they could have got from sending him to the Nationals for.
They gave up a prospect. Strom's under contract for another year, right? So you're almost renting him. You're saying we need a reliever. This guy doesn't cost a lot of money. This is a great trade. We're willing to give you. I don't think the Phillies are interested in a prospect back for Strom. Well, they're looking for somebody that can help the roster now.
Ford is supposedly ready as a catcher, ready to go. They've got Raleigh. That was the marriage I saw right there. A Rosarena out there, when you're talking about moving parts and guys that could be coming up on contracts, Rosarena would be a guy. Now, do I think that's equal value, starting outfielder versus left-handed reliever? No.
Right.
But
it also shows you they think that JT's coming back.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's going to be for 2 or 3 years.
And that's going to really crush any flexibility you have to do anything.
Also, one more quick thing. I don't know if you heard Dave Dombrowski talking about Otto Kemp yesterday.
Oh, I saw the quote.
Get in the zone. Auto zone.
I was looking for the audio just for you. It was going to be the whole news at noon.
Championship-type player, Otto Kemp. He played through a fractured left kneecap last year, too. Championship-type player.
Yeah, Michael Franco's a future MVP.
He's going to be your starting left fielder, or he's going to be your starting third baseman. Book it.
Right? I've heard more of corner outfield as a potential landing spot for him. But if they do move off of Bohm,
he's your third baseman. Him and Amundo.
And if he's the third baseman every day, I'm just again going to put it out there. The I bleep and hate this place night is going to be rivaled at least once this season. He will have 3 errors at third base one night.
All right, coming up next, we have Zach Berman of The Athletic. The latest on the Eagles, and does he see a potential turnaround this season? Closer to the Super Bowl or to missing the playoffs and more? Zach Berman, is the bunny still around in the locker room? That's next. Middays with Marks, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
So feeds up. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. The Phillies signed Kyle Schwarber to a 5-year, $150 million contract yesterday to keep the designated hitter in Philadelphia for the long haul. Jason Stark joined Unfiltered yesterday and talked about the impact of Schwarber.
This had to happen. He was the centerpiece of their entire offseason. They had to send him out there into the free agent market to try to figure out what's he actually worth, because there's nobody comparable to him. There's nobody like him, really, in the history of the sport.
And now, not many that have been paid like him either, at his position at least. 5 years, $150 million for Kyle Schwarber. The Phillies also extended Rob Thompson for a year, as his contract now runs through the 2027 season. Reports are they have an offer out to JT Realmuto to try and bring the catcher back in free agency. Looking at the Birds, they've lost 3 straight. Nick Sirianni going to address the media today at 12:20. Zach Berman going to join us coming up next to talk about everything going on with the Birds as they look to try and bounce back from a tough stretch here and get anything going offensively. This update is brought to you by Macy's Backstage. Macy's Backstage, the whole department inside your Macy's store where you can find so many holiday essentials, all for under $25. Don't wait. Find a location at Macy'sBackstage.com. I'm Ray Dunn in your home for the Sixers, Flyers, the best Birds talk in town. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
What you know about rolling down in the deep? When your brain goes numb, you can call that mental freeze. When these people talk too much.
All right, we're back. Middays with Marks. Oh, 97.5 The Fanatic. John Marks, Ray Dunn. And covering the Eagles for The Athletic, the pride of Germantown Academy, and he joins us right now. His name is Zach Berman. What's up, Zach? Zach, hello.
Hey, you got me?
I got you. What's up, buddy?
Up, guys? A little taken aback. I think Germantown Academy has a lot more things to be proud of than me, but I appreciate that.
Don't sell yourself short. You're one of the great Eagles reporters. You're a noted author. I was looking at your books, right? And what would what would you title this? Because when they win a Super Bowl, you write a book. After this season, what's the book title for this season?
The Positivity Bunny. I'm trying to figure that out. That's a good one. Yeah.
All right, so
I'm trying to figure that one out.
Ron Jaworski said this to me once, that when you have a team meeting, like the season may already be over. If you need to have team meetings, like one team meeting's one thing, but if you're having team meetings, the season's in trouble. If you bring in a vibe bunny, I would say the season's over. But I mean, that's where we are right now, Zach.
Yeah, now I don't want to overstate that because I think that was a few guys in the locker room having fun. I don't think that was like Lou Brown in Major League. With the owner up there is like a locker room rallying cry. But I mean, clearly there's things that they need to fix.
All right, so the question now is, and I've asked a lot of people that cover the team every day this question, a lot of national analysts, local analysts. Like at this point in the season, isn't this just what the team is? And I'm talking about offensively. The defense is still a good defense. But offensively, isn't this just kind of what the offense is?
It's a fair question. My quick answer to you is no. Now, it's how they should be judged because when you have this type of sample size, when we're talking on mid-December or early December here, there's a body of work here. There's 13 games to evaluate. But I also remember when we were talking this time last year, the passing game was really struggling, and the passing game didn't look like that in January and in the Super Bowl. So I think that the Eagles have the pieces. I think if there's any reason for optimism, for positivity outside of a bunny, it's that there's a lot of guys in that locker room on that starting lineup who've built equity, who have earned equity in this market on this team. But they have to play that way. That's the reality. Is that you can't keep pointing to the Super Bowl. You can't keep pointing to the last X years. You need to see it on the field. But I do think that they have the talent and they have the possibility in front of them. And there were some positive things that I saw in that game in terms of how they moved the ball. But they need to get it in the end zone, and that's been a major problem.
It has. And Jalen, who one interception's on AJ. The other ones, he obviously didn't have a good game. He had a bad game. But it just seems like now the league knows, hey, Jalen, you're going to have to beat us with your arm. You're not going to be able to run the ball like you did last year. We've seen him do it in the Super Bowl in the biggest spots in his life. But, true or false, the Eagles will go as far this season as Jalen Hurts' arm will take them.
False. I mean, and that's where I disagree with what you just said there, because I don't think the league's telling you that. I think the Eagles are or Jalen, whoever's doing that. Part of what makes Jalen special is his running ability. The fact that he's not running enough or often is, I think that's part of what's holding the offense back, and I think that is a switch that the offense could use. And I said the same thing last week, and you didn't see it enough. And I know he had one positive run that was taken off the board because of a holding penalty on Juergens. But like for this offense to get to where it needs to be, Jalen needs to run. Because if this is entirely about Jalen as a passer, then Jalen's not the same player when he's just a passer. Part of what makes him special is the ability to run.
Yeah, agreed. Why isn't he running more?
Yeah, I think a lot of it's health. The reality is 2 of the last 4 Decembers, or 2 of the last 3 Decembers, right before this year, he's been injured on plays when he was extending the play. Yep. And you look at Washington last year, you look at Chicago back in 22. I get that. I don't think that's a reason not to run, and I think that it's kind of baked into to having him, right? There's threat of injury in the pocket as well, but I think if you're going to have Jalen Hurts as your quarterback, you need to sign up for the full Jalen Hurts experience.
Yeah, and honestly, and we're talking to Zach Berman at The Athletic, I like when the story came out or there was talk about how Jalen didn't want a lot of design runs in the game plan, it actually makes a lot of sense. Development as a quarterback, as you get the quarterback that has the ability to run, as they go through the process in the league, we saw this with Donovan, when you get to year 5 and year 6, you want them to be able to throw the ball to where they don't need to lean on the run as much because, like you had said, Jalen Hurts protects himself very well when he's extending plays. He's not Michael Vick where he's not sliding, but that doesn't matter a lot of times. You're going to take hits when you're outside of the pocket. Defensive players are going to target you with that, but I think we're at a part of the season where he needs to run. If this team is going to win, you need to rip up whatever you were thinking about with that, and he needs to be a part of the game plan running the football.
Yeah, and that's where it goes back to the question you asked is that if the Eagles go as far as Jalen Hurts' arm's going to take them, then I don't think they're going to go as far as they can because I think if you go as far as Jalen Hurts can take you, then we've seen that being the Super Bowl, but that includes him using his legs. And when this offense has been at its best, and in those 2 Super Bowls we discussed, when the 2 best teams I've seen Jalen play have been in the Super Bowl, he's used his legs. So I do think that if the Eagles were waiting for the playoffs to flip that switch, I think right now is past due for them to flip that switch.
It's the time. How did you think Kevin Patullo and Nick Sirianni did? What did you think overall about the game plan on Monday night?
I thought there were some things that were better. I mean, first off, I thought the Saquon touchdown run was a well-designed, well-called play, right? So if I've been critical of the creativity in previous weeks, I thought that came through there. I still think that, they can get under center more. I still think there's some sequencing things that can be better. But I also think that there were times when I saw players open. And I thought they were able to move the ball down the field effectively at times, but they scored 1 touchdown. And, whether that's on Jalen, whether that's on the coaching staff, that's on the offense overall. This team is scoring, since the bye week, they're scoring touchdowns at a lower rate than any team in the NFL other than the Titans and the Jets or the Titans and the Raiders.
Yeah.
I mean, they're the 30th in the NFL in that category. And that's unacceptable for a team with this much talent and a team with Super Bowl aspirations. So you can say that's on everybody, but I think when you look at that body of work since the bye week, I think the offensive coaching staff's a big part of that.
Yeah, Jake Elliott has not been and I feel like that we've had this before in some seasons, and then the minute we're like, hey, Jake's really struggling, he turns it around. But it happened again last week, and it was a big miss. 48-yard field goals 15 years ago weren't a gimme. Now it seems like, especially if you're inside, if you miss a 48-yard field goal, that's almost like an extra point. You have to hit that. We saw what Cameron Dicker's done with the Chargers, but if you're Nick Sirianni, you can't have a ton of confidence in Jake going forward if he continues to miss field goals like that.
Yeah, look, that's another one where you're looking at the equity that he's built, and he was sharp earlier this year. He has been less effective in recent weeks. Now, there were a few of those where he was kicking in windy conditions. That does not absolve what happened in Los Angeles. I do think Nick could have handled that end of half situation better. But, yeah, 48-yard field goal at the end of the half is one that Jake Elliott should make. Now, the Eagles changed their long snapper. It would be disingenuous for me to say that the long snapper has something to do with it. Like, I can't assess that. I mean, I'll talk to Michael Clay this week to figure out more, but I think that there needs to be, they need more consistency from Jake Elliott. I've seen Jake Elliott kick in 3 Super Bowls, win 2 Super Bowls here, and so I think the earned equity's there. But that's a position where, the equity maybe doesn't last as long as some other spots.
Is this locker room, and I guess you haven't been in the locker room this week, and you're headed down today for Sirianni, but is this locker room? I talked to Tim McManus about this, to where is it like 2023 where it felt like the sky was falling, at least on offense? What have the guys been like?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, it's a fair question. I don't think this is like 2023 right now. But I will also say that in 2023, it didn't feel like that until, mid to late December, right? I mean, I don't think they were as shell-shocked after, like, San Francisco and Dallas as maybe it was late in December. I think that the major difference here is, like, this defense is playing outstanding. And you saw that the other night, and you've seen that pretty consistently outside of the second half against Dallas. And I know Chicago ran the ball quite well, or I should say beyond quite well. But,
yeah.
I mean, the Bears had 10 points going into the fourth quarter. I think the Eagles know that they have a side of the ball they can hang their hat on, and that the defense is going to keep them in games, and it's consistently kept them in games. In 2023, the defense was a mess. The offense was turning the ball over. You kind of looked around and you said they're not doing anything right. And so I think a major difference this year is that, like, that defense is getting better throughout the year. And if their blip was a bad half against Dallas when they were on the field the entire time, then, so be it. I think this defense is a deep in playoff caliber defense.
Agreed. So with that said, you need 3 wins to win the division. Raiders, Washington, at the Bills, and then Washington. Home and home with Washington. Would you be shocked if the Eagles did not make the playoffs and win the division?
I would be shocked if the Eagles did not make the playoffs and win the division. I mean, I think that they have enough of a cushion there, and the schedule is soft enough. And I understand Washington, the strength of the schedule was kind of built when they didn't have Jaden Daniels, but that's a team that's lost some players, that defensively is not there. I mean, yeah, it's a tall task to sweep a team twice in 3 weeks. But the Eagles are 12.5-point favorites against the Raiders. 3 guarantees it, but I think 2 will still get you in, because if you win 2, then Dallas needs to win out, right? So I think that it would really surprise me if the Eagles are not hosting a playoff game on that first weekend. And if they're not hosting a playoff game, then I think the criticism, like, it's beyond fair. It's rationalized. It's justified. It's necessary, because their odds of winning the division were in the high 90s, 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
So 3-game losing streak does it, but you have the Raiders, the Commanders twice, with the Bills in between. They should be able to win 2 of them, if not 3 of them.
Zach Berman of The Athletic. If you're looking for a gift idea, Leap Year, which is a story of the Eagles winning the Super Bowl last year. It's an excellent read. I read it, and I recommend it. So if you want to feel good about the team, go out and get Leap Year with Zach. It's excellent. Appreciate you fitting us in. I know you're busy. You're headed down to the facility, so appreciate it, Zach. We'll talk.
Anytime. Thanks, guys.
All right, there he is, Zach Berman. See, he'd be shocked. Ray, you may not be walking.
Listening to him go through that and be like, well, it's tough to sweep a team twice in
So you're not
2
feeling.
weeks.
Well, I mean, he also, like, Dallas has to win out for them to have to win all 3 games. So
All 3. No, for them to win 3 or 4, Dallas has to win out. They only win 2. Like, yeah. All right.
How about that?
I'd be shocked. I still would be shocked. I'd still be very surprised. I still don't think I'm walking to work. I have started to think about the direction in which I would take to walk to work, which is not good.
yeah, we'll map it out for you. All right, coming just like when you do the 5Ks or you do the bike rides or
Yeah.
whatever, they map it out. We'll do that for you. We'll make sure you're not riding by any drug corners. Or
I
anything
was
like
looking
that.
at the calendar to figure out what day would be the best day to do it if they missed the playoffs.
Well, I think we do it on the coldest, rainiest, windiest, snowiest day.
I was just looking at the week after they got eliminated. That was more my thought process.
All right, well, coming up, Nick Sirianni at 12:20, but Evan Cohen of Unsportsmanlike on ESPN Radio made an interesting comparison for Nick Sirianni. We'll play that for you coming up next. Middays with Marks, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Hey, it's Ray Dunn and FanDuel. The partnership with Valley Forge is the #1 sports book for same-game parlays. From points and rebounds to threes and assists, FanDuel is the best place to combine your favorite picks into a same-game parlay or track every stat live, all in one easy-to-use app. And right now is the perfect time to join because new customers get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. So bet on the players you love the way you want. And again, the deal is $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. One of the best bets in all of basketball this year has been a very, very simple one. The Thunder winning basketball games. The Thunder play tonight in the NBA Cup. They've got the Suns. The Suns are off to a nice start to the season. Nobody's off to the start of the season. Anywhere close to the start of the season, the Thunder have had at 23-1. So maybe you're saying, hey, Thunder, if you want to get a little more fun with it, parlay something in there, maybe SGA points, or if you like some other prop alongside that, put those together. You get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. All you got to do is head to FanDuel.com/endzone. That's FanDuel.com/endzone to sign up today. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. 21 plus at President, Pennsylvania. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued is not withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLE.
What I mean by that is Mike Ditka won one championship, and those players will tell you the reason they won the championship is because the defensive coordinator, Buddy Ryan. And the question that I have about Sirianni now is, do we only like Sirianni when we like his assistants? When they went to the Super Bowl the first time, Steichen, Gannon, Colts, Cardinals, 2 head coaches. They leave, Pat and Cam, 2 Eagles fans on our show, then go crazy about how bad Brian Johnson and others are on that staff. They bring in Kellen Moore, head coach, New Orleans Saints. They win the Super Bowl. They lose Kellen Moore. All anyone talks about is how bad Kevin Petula is. Is there the Mike Ditka comp here where we're going to get to a place where we're going to think that the head coach is only good when his assistants are elite?
All right. That's Evan Cohen. Isn't Sportsman like the morning show on the ESPN radio that no one listens to? All right, we're back. It's a one-hit wonder Wednesday. Party like a rock star. I bet Ray was getting down the party like a rock star back in the day.
I was getting down to Party Like a Rock Star in the break here. I was like, let's keep that rolling.
Good song, right?
Such a great song.
It really is.
I actually think I might want one of the return beds for a weekend show for me to be that.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe that can be your open.
I like my open right now.
What is it?
It's Family Ties, Baby Keem and Kendrick Lamar.
Oh, I thought you meant Family Ties, the show from
No,
1983.
No.
No?
Yeah, you're not from. I'm not imagining that that's a song you've listened to a ton.
Kendrick Lamar?
And Baby Keem.
A lot like who's the guy on Vancouver that I never heard of?
Quinn Hughes.
Him. I couldn't name you one Kendrick Lamar song.
That's okay.
If you gave me $1 billion. Not because he's not good or anything. I just couldn't.
Yeah. I did not think that you were spending a lot of time listening to Kendrick Lamar.
No.
People come across shocked that I listen to as much of his music as I do. But
oh, so you're a big fan.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. No, and that song specifically, I like the way it kind of drops into the intro. There's some of his music just plays really well for a return bed.
I'm sure if you played a song, I'd be like, oh yeah, I know that song. That's Kendrick Lamar. I just like some you just know what you know.
Yeah,
that's what you know. Like Herb from Northeast Philly knows stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. You think he's driven Kendrick Lamar around?
Probably. He probably knows him
personally.
Herb knows a lot of people. You just don't know it. Herb actually, and by the way, the comparison of Mike Ditka and coordinators or whatever. Yeah, I would agree that the better coordinators you have, the better your team is, right? I will push back on the Kellen Moore. Like, oh, Kellen Moore, head coach. Okay. All right. Did they win last year because Kellen Moore is such a great offensive coordinator?
Or did they win last year because Vic Fangio is such a great defensive coordinator?
Bang! Yes. Yeah.
Which plays to the point, though. The one collapse here.
Brian Johnson and
Desai Patricia.
Desai/Patricia. Patricia Desai.
Yeah.
Might have been a girl I dated back
hey.
many years ago. Patricia Desai. Yeah. There you go. All right, so Herb from Northeast Philly is going to join us tomorrow. He's coming live in studio. And Herb, let's break some news to Herb. Herb, how you doing, buddy?
Yeah, what's happening, Johnny?
What are you doing, Herb? How are you?
I'm over at my insurance agent.
Of course you are. All right, so Herb, tomorrow when you come in, and you're going to be coming in around 1 o'clock, I know that you've talked to me before. You want the opportunity. You want more time on the air. So here's what we're doing, all right? I've gotten you a tryout to do a podcast with Nate. Nate's our associate producer. So when you come in, you and Nate are going to go back in 4Q in our studio back here, and we're going to give you a tryout with a podcast. And what's the name of the podcast, Ray? We already have a name for it.
The Herb.
The Herb. You know Colin Cowherd?
Yeah,
Colin, why does he not seem happy about this? I'm very annoyed.
Yeah, I'm kind of annoyed too. We're giving him his shot.
So Scott Masteller, who is a famed program director, actually discovered Colin Cowherd at a radio station many years ago, and coached him to where what a lot of people say that it's like it's like a lot of coaches out there. You draft a quarterback, you develop him. He helped develop Colin Cowherd into being the powerhouse that he is today. So there's no reason why Scott Masteller couldn't do the same with Herb.
Right. Cowherd did the Herd.
So we're doing the Herb.
He's going to do the Herb.
And Nate, our associate producer, Nate Tennyson, is going to go back, and it's going to be the Herb. And then Nate is going to be the co-host. He's going to help drive the show.
Right. Because once you get your start in radio, you need someone to show you the ropes. And Nate will do that for Herb.
Herb's just a natural raw talent, but he needs a little bit of guidance, and Nate's going to give you that. Herb, are you down with that?
In there. Okay, good. Yeah, I got you, brother.
All right. Well, listen, we'll see you tomorrow. Handle your business he's always calling from diners, insurance agencies.
Yeah, here's the thing. When opportunity knocks, you got to be ready to answer the door. And right there, it kind of felt like he was like, sorry, I'm cooking dinner. You guys can come back another time.
He was on hold for an hour, so I can see that he needs to go about his day. But it just seems like a lot of times with Herb, we're interrupting his conversations.
When Cliff Lee got traded to the Phillies, Johnny Marks, what were you doing?
I was about to go to bed, and then I came into the radio station, and I did an overnight shift.
Yeah.
Or no, that was when he came back.
Whatever it was.
Free agency, yes.
Yeah. If you were at the insurance company right now.
I'd walk outside.
Correct.
Right.
All right, opportunity knock for you there, Herb.
Yeah, Herb isn't – he's not very flexible when it comes to the whole radio thing or the bits. He doesn't want to help you out. He wants us to just give him things. So tomorrow he's going to get – I hope he's ready for it.
Better be.
This is a big shot. If him and Nate are able to do something that people like, he was talking about he wants to get paid, and the other station wants to bring him on and give him more time and all this other stuff. This could be his big shot. All right?
I hope he performs. I really do.
Well, speaking of performing, coming up the news at noon. So Nick Sirianni, we're gonna have Nick Sirianni at 12:20, and then we have a long commercial free after that. But the news at noon coming up next, featuring Giannis, Mike Francesa, and Coach O. That is coming up next. News at noon with Ray Dunn, and then we will have Nick Sirianni in his press conference, and then uninterrupted programming for the rest of that hour. That's coming up next. Middays with Marks, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Schwarber Signs, I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. Yesterday, around this time, we found out that Kyle Schwarber will be a Philly for the next 5 years, $150 million to the designated heir to keep him a Philadelphia Philly, as the Phillies getting going down at the winter meetings in Orlando. They apparently also have an offer out for JT Realmuto right now to try and bring the catcher back. They did tack another year on to manager Rob Thompson's contract. But outside of that, what could the Phillies do? Jason Stark joined Unfiltered yesterday and spoke about how they could find some flexibility.
In order for them to do more, they need to free up some money. And that means there's incentive to make trades on multiple levels, not just to avoid running it back, but to create a little more payroll flexibility.
We'll see if they can create that flexibility and do anything to shake this roster up so it's not just another run-it-back season for the Phillies. We just spoke, you heard, in the 11 o'clock hour to Zach Berman of The Athletic about the Birds right now, who are trying to shake things up themselves and get out of a 3-game losing skid. Coming up at 12:20, we will have Nick Sirianni's presser for you live here at Middays with Marks. This update is brought to you by Batteries Plus. Dead car battery, the experts at Batteries Plus can replace it in about 20 minutes. Want longer battery life? Ask about their premier installation. Batteries Plus, the experts in charge. I'm Ray Dunn, your home for the Sixers, Flyers, the best Birds talk in town. 97.5 The Fanatic.
MCs. This is a great song. 90s song.
Yeah, I was going to say, no idea.
Gonna get myself connected. Last you heard of the Stereo MCs.
First, actually, I've heard of the Stereo MCs.
Well, I mean, the song's easily 25 years old. Well, no, more than that. Goes to 30 years old. I had to make sure when I was looking last night, early this morning for the one-hit wonders, I had to make sure that I wasn't like I'm in the tail end. I'm getting close to the tail end of our demo. So I can't, but it's still in the demo. But the younger, like you're at the beginning of the demo. You're 25.
I just got into the demo.
Right. I have to make sure I'm giving something at least some of one you've heard of. So you've heard of some of these.
Oh, yeah. No, you did a good job with this one. I would be more concerned from your perspective, which I appreciate the fact that I rolled over this morning to an email of like 16 different songs. I was like, I can't imagine what the 4 o'clock hour at the Marks household was today, where he's just rolling through old music.
It was late last night, and then I finished it this morning.
Okay.
So it was 10 to 11 last night, and then it was this morning.
I would be more worried, though, from your perspective, that you play someone where you have, like, the diehard fans, like, that wasn't a one-hit wonder. They had so many hits.
Happens
so
every
many
time.
hits.
Happens every time. Every time it happens. No, like, I'll play Montel Jordan, this is how we do it, and I'll be like, one-hit wonder. I will get 2 people that say, whoa. No, he had a couple of hits. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Name another.
You got it. I mean, yeah, you can't. I can't. These people do.
Right.
These people do.
You went to his concert when it was at the smaller venue. Congratulations.
But guess what? The fact that I know who sings it, who cares if you're a one-hit wonder? Like, if I played Sugar Ray's not a one-hit wonder. Not he. That's a group. They're cheesy, but if I go to Wegmans, I'm guaranteed to hear more than one Sugar Ray song.
That's not a one-hit wonder.
When it's over. That's actually, I think we were playing it when the Philly season was over. Because you have the I Just Want to Fly. If you have another song, then you cannot be a one-hit wonder.
Yeah.
Another song might suck.
But it was a hit.
But it was
not
a hit.
all hits are good songs.
No.
There's a number of songs. We could do it that day, too. The worst hits.
By definition, if you have more than one song, then you can't be a one-hit wonder. That's what makes the one-hit wonder unique. You've never heard of anything else they've done.
Correct.
There you go.
And the Stereo MCs just became one-hit wonder in my world. They were a zero-hit wonder until 5 minutes ago.
All right, Nick Sirianni, his press conference, 12:20 coming up. Time for the news at noon.
This city needs its news.
Now, it's time for
I'd like to be remembered as a good newsman.
the news at noon
That's the coolest story I've ever heard in my entire life. That's insane.
with Ray Dunn.
All right, we're going to start in the association with one of my favorite stories. And it's not that Giannis wants to leave Milwaukee. It's this type of superstar storyline where superstar has conversations about being traded, conversations get out, and it becomes, let's just focus on basketball, guys. Why is all their outside noise happening? How did this happen? Why are my teammates upset with me? Here is Chris Haynes telling you that Giannis sat down with his teammates, and the Bucks are talking about focusing on hoops.
Rumors swirling rampant right now on Giannis Antetokounmpo and his future. Sources have relayed to me that Giannis Antetokounmpo addressed some of his teammates recently to stress the importance of focusing on basketball and not to allow outside distractions to interfere with the process at hand. And, I was told that his point was that he's here at the time being wanting to get better, wanting to make sure he gets his game back on point, make sure he gets back from this injury. But he understood and he relayed the message that he can't control what goes on or what even happens to him.
So, just so you know, I'm going to go on Crossing Broadcast and say that I'm actually leaving the station for somewhere else, and I want us to make sure during the show we don't bring it up at all.
Right.
It's
Not
dumb.
allowed to talk about it.
It's so dumb.
Yeah, I mean, to me, clearing the air of the elephant in the room is smart. But it does have that feel of, like, somebody's done Giannis wrong because now this is the big talk. Yeah, sorry, dude. This is the big talk in large part because you won't put it to bed.
No. And it's not like this is the first time it's come up about Giannis wanting to move on from Milwaukee. It's been a lurking storyline in the background. Miles Turner signs with the Bucks. It's, wow, the shock of him leaving Indiana, but also, Miles Turner, really interesting timing to go to Milwaukee with all this uncertainty. And I'm sorry, maybe this is the small market Bucks trying to do business here. If Miles Turner was your solution for trying to keep your superstar, you're a moron. I like his game as much as the next guy. That was never keeping Giannis in town.
Nope. Yeah, outside of winning another championship, I don't think they were keeping Giannis in town.
Yeah. So
Agreed.
it's just stupid. Let's focus on basketball. But you created the distraction. You don't get to put out the fire here.
By the way, if Bayless is now reporting that you're leaving on the YouTube chat.
Yes, please take that out of context.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, no context, Ray. Ray's leaving the station, everybody. Let me text Kevin Kincade.
I was going to say,
we just broke it.
I don't think I get a blog if I'm gone. I think they see that move. They're like, all right, let's keep with the Eagles today.
See, now I have people texting me Montel Jordan's not a one-hit wonder. See, I told you.
Happens. That's how it happens.
My buddy Vince. Like, no, he had another hit. Okay, but if I haven't heard of it, trust me, he's a one-hit wonder.
Oh, all right. Moving on to the next one. The Kellerman Bill Simmons podcast. I still haven't listened to it. I've consumed the clips, which is, I guess, the 2025 version of listening to it.
Yeah, it counts.
Kellerman, in the podcast, talked about how he might have been the replacement for Mad Dog after Mike and the Mad Dog ended. Mike heard that. Someone got that back to him. Wants to make it very clear that wasn't going to happen.
Max Kellerman said, and I guess Max Kellerman did an interview recently because, and I didn't hear it.
Guess.
And I've seen just drips and drabs, but I guess he mentioned me in the show. Max Kellerman recently said in an interview that he was going to be your partner after you parted ways with Mad Dog. Is this true? No, it's completely untrue. There's not a word of truth to that.
Later, he goes on to say Bill Simmons was the first call he made, and Simmons immediately told him it was something he wasn't interested in.
Yeah, I was going to say, Simmons and Francesa, that would have lasted about a week. By the way, Kellerman didn't say he was going to. Kellerman more or less was saying that they were talking to him about potentially that happening, right?
Well, I guess it never got back to Francesa, it seems.
Well, I would think that they were trying to figure out who would do it and then pitch him on those ideas.
If Kellerman didn't like working on First Take, you're telling me him and Francesa would have had a long-standing, successful show.
That would have lasted 2 weeks.
Yeah. Simmons, I would have loved, though. Him coming in the summer, hey, Mike, I think we're going to do the redraftables of the 2006 NBA draft. Let's see what we got. Francesa would have looked at him like, yeah, okay, sure.
I also saw that Bill Simmons had said that ESPN didn't get Max Kellerman or something to that effect. And I agree with that. It's not that they didn't get him. They have programming they want to do, and they were trying to make Max a part of that programming.
Right.
And ultimately, Max is far too intelligent to do the dumb. Like, what you need on First Take is a dumbed-down sports product. Like, Stephen A. Smith isn't successful with it because he's the best debater, and Stephen A. Smith's problem is he doesn't realize the reason he's good at it is because it's theatrics. Who cares about this isn't the debate team. It's supposed to be entertaining. And Max was debating him on it. Who cares?
Yeah, and you need the complementary parts. At this point, it's a Stephen A. theatrical show where you need someone to be theatrical next to him.
Right.
And it's not so much going back after Stephen A. It's once a week you get a good jab at Stephen A. because the show needs that. But more than likely over those next 4 days, it's guys that are giving you other theatrical points alongside.
Well, Chris Russo is a perfect mix of being a nut, being really entertaining, but you couldn't do that 5 days a week. Russo and Stephen A. would not work 5 days a week because Stephen A. wouldn't be able to. They wouldn't be able to deal with it, both of them.
Right. And he gives them theatrics on the side. He doesn't necessarily give them the punch back at him like, Stephen A., you're an idiot.
Right.
And that's how that show works. So I think it makes sense. Kellerman, could he do Greenberg's job right now in the morning on Get Up? Yeah.
Absolutely.
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 Could. If they want him for that or the 5 o'clock slot that they're trying to figure out what they want to do with that, those types of things work. Once they got rid of Sports Nation that he did and moved him up to First Take, it was doomed to fail. Both sides knew it.
Yeah, no, but neither side was going to be like Max is so much better off other than like the money aspect of it.
Yeah,
I'm sure he's fine. And Max is talented. He can do something other than that stupid shit.
He's doing a podcast with Rich Paul now. I think he'll be all right money-wise, too.
Yeah, I think he's going to be fine.
All right, last one for you here. Coach O. Sat down, busted with the boys. There's about 1,000 stories from this podcast you could go with.
There is.
I'll go with the Adrian Peterson recruiting story to USC.
I'm going to tell you the one I didn't get. Adrian Peterson. So Adrian went down there, a little East Texas place. He comes to USC, has a great visit, loves it. But Adrian said, Coach, I got a problem. And I know he don't mind me saying this, and I'll say it with utmost respect because I love him. Because my dad is incarcerated in Texarkana. Bob Stoops has already gone in there to see him. He said, Coach, I got to go see my dad, man. And if you can convince my dad to come to USC, I want to come. But there's another thing I need to talk to you about. So we tried to get into jail, but everybody else tried. They wouldn't let them do it. So I said, Adrian, what is the other thing we need to talk about? He goes, Coach, my dad will get to watch me play in Texarkana. They play Oklahoma games. games. He goes, I'm not going to Texas. I'm going to Oklahoma. I said, Adrian, if your daddy, if they showed them USC games over there, would you come? He said, Coach, I come tomorrow. If you promise me, my daddy could see every one of my games. I went back to Los Angeles. I went to speak to the mayor. I went to speak to every influential person that I could talk to. And I tried to get Adrian's daddy transferred from Texarkana to Los Angeles jail, man. I tried. I busted my butt. I couldn't do it, man.
Man, I don't think I've ever watched the Bussin' with the Boys Barstool.
Nope.
They're not Barstool anymore.
I think they're on
they left
FanDuel
Barstool
now, yeah.
Okay. They're good, but the clips, and I haven't watched the whole thing, but I've seen extended clips of a lot of different stuff. I mean, is there a more likable guy than Eddie O? I mean, he tells a great story.
He tells a great story. He's got the theatrical part down of it. He knows how to draw you in. He's a guy that knows how to win a press conference.
And he's got that accent.
Yeah.
And he shoots from the hip. What did you say earlier? Yeah, what did you say earlier? He's not
brutally honest. He's ridiculously honest.
And it's very accurate. It's a good line.
It's not so much he's attacking you with the truth. You're shocked by the truth.
And coming up, we're going to do a How About That?
How about that?
After Sirianni in the 1 o'clock hour. More Eddie O coming up. Because I found a cut I want to play from it. It's really, really good. Eddie O's amazing. All right, coming up, we'll set up Nick Sirianni, and then the Nick Sirianni press conference where he's going to have a lot of tough questions. I'm curious to see what we hear from Nick Sirianni. And then we're uninterrupted for the rest of the 12 o'clock hour. That's coming up. Nick Sirianni, his thoughts on everything coming up next. Middays with Marks, 97.5, the Fanatic. Nick Sirianni coming up. His not day after press conference because they didn't get back till 8 a.m. on Tuesday morning, Eastern time. So, who had made this case? It was Mertitas, actually, made this case last week that you don't realize it, but these players it's routine, or they have a routine. So, especially football players, right? Because basketball, hockey, baseball players are just constantly playing, and then they get one day off like every 2 weeks. But football players, they have, they play on Sunday, so then you have the off day on Monday, and then like on Tuesday you have this, and then Wednesday is back where you're back, and that's where you're getting ready for the next game. But when you're thrown off your routine, and if you look at the Eagles, they played on Black Friday, they've played a bunch of primetime games. So now they're not getting home till Tuesday at 8 a.m. And is that a part of what's going on? Is just that like they're at the end of this, where Black Friday, they're playing on holidays or whatever. I mean, I don't know. I don't use it as an excuse, but yeah, like it does. It changes the way that you're preparing. It changes everything. So Nick Sirianni is going to be talking at 12:20. I don't think he's. Will he be asked about Jalen Hurts' potential being benched, or would he think about taking him out? Is he asked today?
It depends who's there. If there's a columnist there, yes.
So Marcus
Sealski, someone there that's writing something that's coming out this week about Hurts' play.
So he needs the quote.
Yeah.
From it.
I can't see someone that's on the beat going down that path. They can ask him what he thinks of Hurts. The problem is if it's phrased as and framed as, what do you think of the quarterback performance over the last couple of weeks? It's going to become, well, obviously we evaluate everything, and he'll give you the non-answer. And he'll say that there's a lot of factors. Hurts has been a Super Bowl winner. We don't listen to the outside noise. We need someone going in there with the agenda to get the quote for the column if we're going to get the actual question about Hurts. He'll be taken aback by it regardless.
So what's the question? What's the question that you ask that gets him to actually answer it? Is it, you've been evaluating the quarterback position. Have you or will you consider making a change at quarterback, either going into a game or during a game? Have you considered it?
Yeah.
And he probably gives you a short no, which is what he should do.
Right.
But it's a valid question to ask just to see what his reaction is. I think it's a fan conversation, but it's also so. It's for me, and like I was talking to Bill Colarulo during one of the breaks, and he was talking about sure, I've thought about we talked about this 2 months ago. What is this? What would Tanner McKee look like in this offense? I know Howard Eskin had talked about it, but to actually have a serious conversation about, and it's such rage bait to go on and say this Jalen Hurts should be playing for his job. No, Jalen Hurts should not be playing for his job. Jalen Hurts is not playing for his job. Jalen Hurts is not getting benched. He's just not. And to have that conversation of saying Jalen Hurts is playing for his job, and this should be the game where if Jalen Hurts doesn't play well, he should be benched. It's not. I can't even say it's unlikely. It's not going to happen. It's not. And by the way, he shouldn't. What is being a Super Bowl MVP and having the best year in franchise history and in the city's history give you? It gives you some runway. There's nothing that Jalen Hurts can do as the only way that they would take him out is if it's, hey man, you can't put him out there for his own good. And it felt like at the end of Carson Wentz, he was playing that bad to where you had to get him out of there. He was playing that bad. Jalen Hurts hasn't played like that this year.
No. And the benching happened at what? 4-7, 4-8?
That was after being a Super Bowl MVP. Yeah, that was his last year here.
3-7. Yeah, it didn't come after a Super Bowl MVP. It was you felt like the road was coming to an end.
Yep.
I don't feel like we're at the end.
No.
I feel like we're at an inflection point, certainly.
If this was 2 years from now and they hadn't been back to a Super Bowl, yeah. If this is next year, all right, same point next year, the same things are happening, legitimate discussion.
Especially if they change play caller again.
And you know what? I might be saying to put Tanner. In fact, I'd probably be saying put McKee in there. I want to see what McKee looks like. We're not there.
Yeah.
This isn't a year from now.
And there is an element of it just not being fair this week. Like the Chargers, for as bad as he played, it is one of the best pass defenses in all of football. It doesn't excuse the performance, but you would then be having this fan base comparing Hurts against the Chargers to McKee against the Raiders.
Right.
And so, the offense looks a lot like you're just putting him in a no-win bind.
No, there's no. Is there a team in the NFL that would be benching their quarterback this year? Their Super Bowl MVP quarterback. Is there a team in the NFL
now?
Is there ever? And it's one thing if you're Trent Dilfer and you step in and you end up winning the Super Bowl MVP, in a vacuum, and then that's it. Yeah, okay, but that's different. That's the details of that. We're talking about this particular situation. He's your franchise quarterback. He's making $50 million a year. There's no consideration in it. Not that you shouldn't ask the question. That's not what I'm saying at all, because I want to hear his reaction to it. But, there's no consideration at all. And to actually to say, if you're a member of the media, and even if you're doing talk radio in this town, and I have to explain to you why that's not something that you even need to bring up, that's rage bait. And it's ridiculous. And it's totally ridiculous. I mean, sure, everybody should be tempted. We're always tempted to see what somebody else looks like in the situation. And I think you can make the case this offense would look better right now with Tanner McKee. Yep, in a vacuum for a week maybe. But that's not when you win a Super Bowl and you're a Super Bowl MVP and you're under contract and you're making $50 million a year and you've been to 2 Super Bowls in 3 years, that's going to give you time. I mean, and he hasn't been good this year, but has he been that bad?
If he was that bad, are they 8-5?
No.
And that's where it comes down to. And the McKee conversation, to get into that, our one point with him is a game against a dead Giants team.
Right.
That's what we've seen McKee. We've seen McKee against backups. We've seen him in the preseason. We've seen him against a Cowboys team that was down 30-something points and a Giants team that was just walking its way to the end of an embarrassing season.
He looks good.
He looked good.
He's looked good. When he's played, he's looked really good.
Correct. And practice and in training camp, he gives the beats something to write about every day. And that is very valuable to those beat writers.
And you know how good he's looked? He's looked so good that the Eagles say he's our backup quarterback and we don't need to bring anybody else in here. That's how good he's looked.
Yeah.
And that's good. And that's good. They moved on from Kenny Pickett. They brought in Kenny Pickett because they know they need a good backup. They're a quarterback factory, Ray.
They are. Certainly.
They need a good backup quarterback. If Jalen Hurts goes down, you need somebody, as we learned with Nick Foles and everything else. But they saw enough of Tanner McKee to say, yeah, Kenny Pickett's not good, not an upgrade over Tanner McKee. You get rid of him, you free up the salary, and you don't have to carry 3 quarterbacks on the roster.
We seeing Pickett this week?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
maybe.
So.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the reasons why people don't think the Eagles have any chance to lose. Kenny Pickett revenge game.
Kenny Pickett revenge game. Should the Eagles have moved on from a different quarterback after last season? 610-632.
So Kenny Pickett, Tanner McKee, Jalen Hurts could have been traded to the Raiders.
Right.
I mean, in hindsight, I guess you can make that case.
This really is Wentz all over again. Shouldn't have given up the backup.
Dude, I honestly, I feel like I'm having because the same suspects, by the way, that are doing this right now are the same people that did you trade Carson Wentz and you get what you get for Carson Wentz and you keep Nick Foles. And just because Carson Wentz didn't end up working out, guess what else wouldn't have worked out? Nick Foles is your starting. Nick Foles is your starting quarterback. Because anytime Nick Foles has had to be a full-time starting quarterback, guess what? It doesn't work. Short stints, yes. But trading Carson Wentz and having Nick Foles as your starting quarterback, all right, it was just so stupid because they were never doing it. What did they get for Nick Foles in that trade anyway? More than they should have.
Super Bowl MVP.
I know. There you go.
What did they get?
I think they got something decent for Nick Foles. And he went down to Jacksonville. Did he even win a game?
No, because he signed with them free agency, right?
Wasn't a trade?
No, they traded him to the Bears for a pick. And then the Foles trade originally for Bradford, but I think that...
So that was just free agency?
I thought he just signed like a $100 million...
You're right, because they would have traded Carson Wentz. They would have re-signed Nick Foles, and they would have traded Carson Wentz.
How much did Nick Foles make in his career? He's podcasting now. Does he need the podcast?
Well, he's podcasting because
$88 million deal.
Yeah, but he didn't get all that, but he's podcasting because he enjoys it, and he needs to give you as much misinformation as possible, as we've learned with Nick Foles and Kevin Patullo up in the booth.
That was a tough first real viral clip for you. Get him up there in the booth. You know, he went back to playing the hits, and then he was like, Frank Reich's got to come in and give you ideas. Stanford season's over.
Nick Foles money earned. So actual money earned? What did he make?
I'll go 101.
100. I don't think he made that much. Career earnings $83 million. And by the way, he came from money. You know that, right?
Yeah, they were a restaurant chain, right?
Eddie V's was a part of the restaurant group that his dad owned that they sold. You ever eat at Eddie V's? Good stuff.
Try
one King of Prussia. No, very good.
Ooh, all right.
Somewhat reasonably priced too. Not bad.
Ooh, okay, reasonably priced, right up my alley. King of Prussia. I'll be home for like a week over the holidays.
Stuffed shrimp is my go-to when I go there because it's so good, and they have other good stuff too. But I just every time I go there, I'm like, oh no, I gotta get the stuffed shrimp. It's so good.
I'm in on that.
So Nick Sirianni might right now be finishing up his stuffed shrimp.
I don't like tardiness.
Yeah, but you're used to this by now. This is typically why I don't like to carry these press conferences because A, they're boring, but B, they're never on time.
They're anticipating the Hurts question. That's what this tells me.
So Bob Lang is working with them right now. They're doing mock questions.
All right, Nick, here's the question. Jalen Hurts struggled. There's been a lot of talk around this town about the quarterback position and what's going on there. Would you consider a change at quarterback if the offense continues to struggle?
No. How about I play Nick Sirianni and you ask me questions like I'm Nick Sirianni?
Okay. Nick, Kevin Patullo sucks. Why?
Well, back when I was at Mount Union, and one time the coach he told me a story, right? And I really bring it back to Kevin Patullo, which is it's never one guy's fault, right? So I remember when I was a wide receiver, and the coach talked to me before the game because I was really angry, and I say the same thing to my son all the time, which is like you can't get mad during games. And you can't get angry at the coaches. And, I had a really good pizza the other night, and we were talking about the pizza with my son. While I was talking about this when I was having pizza with my son, and it got me thinking, is this the best pizza that they have in New Jersey? Because New Jersey has really good pizza, but it's not the best pizza you can have in the world. The best pizza I remember in Buffalo, about where I grew up, was a pizza. It's called Rigatoni's. The place had a really good pizza, but it wasn't the best pizza. That wasn't the best thing they had. They had really good buffalo wings there. And the best buffalo wings I've ever had is actually a place up the street from me, a really small place up the street from where I grew up.
So, Nick, right there in that answer, you mentioned not getting mad at coaches. Are you insinuating that at some point you would be mad at the performance of Kevin Patullo?
But see, people would forget what the question was, and they would move on to something totally different.
Nick, did your quarterback consider throwing the ball to guys in the same jersey as him on Monday night?
Well, it's a good question, Ray. Back a couple years ago when Shane Steichen was here, we used to have conversations about, what do we want to have for dinner when we're going over film and things like that. And Shane was a big Italian guy, and I love Italian food, but when I'm doing takeout, I don't like Italian food because when you do takeout, Italian food doesn't last very long. And so I like to have burgers and fries and things like that, but you can't wait too long with the fries. Shane didn't like fries because once the fries get too far from being out of the fryer, they don't taste as good. I actually like the softer fries. I just put salt, pepper, and ketchup on top of it, and they taste good.
You mentioned burgers there. This offense has been pretty much a nothing burger for the last month and a half. We're going to go back to the play caller here. Have you considered a change of play caller?
All right. Well, maybe they should consider a new field goal kicker. I wonder if he'll be asked about Jake Elliott. It'd be like you had said to me something before the show where your dad was trying to have some conversation with you.
Yeah.
Because when I go to I go to Wegmans, I go to the grocery store, and more times than not, I'm doing my show at Wegmans. Here's Nick Sirianni.
All right, go ahead.
Nick, when the defense is playing well and you're not going to win, how do you make sure those guys don't get demoralized by it?
Yeah, again, this is the ultimate team game, and one phase has to pick up another, and there could be games like that. There can be games the opposite way. But that's the important part of always connecting with everybody in the building, controlling the things you can control, all those different things.
You open up the offensive playbook just a little bit. How do you balance, doing that versus, maybe asking some guys to not do something that they're familiar with at this point?
Yeah, I mean, there's different ways to. I mean, some things are, it's just a difference of a formation or something like that. There still will be concepts that you've run throughout the year. Maybe you do one with play action as opposed to doing it with drop back. But you always are mixing things and introducing new things, as the year continues to go on too. As you see, there's sometimes you see something on tape that fits something that you do with a little bit of a difference. And, I think that's just kind of been business as usual as far as that goes, as we put different things in throughout the year. But it always goes back to, does it fit with what you're kind of going for that week, and what your identity is and what you want to do.
Nick, usually when you have a guy coming off IR, you give him a week to practice, and then he'll play in the next game with, you all right?
Yeah.
Marcus Epps came right off IR, hadn't really played defense all year. What made you confident in having him come right from IR to play, and what'd you think of the way he played?
Yeah, I thought he did a lot of good things. We've got a lot of confidence in Marcus. That dates back, obviously to when he was here prior. And then we're really excited to get him back. And, until he got injured, was giving us good reps on special teams and even some time on defense. So have a lot of confidence in him and the things that he can do. And I thought he did a lot of good things. Everybody's a little different, right? Just because one guy took a week to get off, everybody's bodies are a little different. Everybody's situation's a little bit different. So not in our, written in my notes to say, hey, this guy will go after 1 week on it. It's more like, is he ready? Then you go with it. If not, then you wait another week.
For that, the fact that Lane did not go on IR would suggest this general time frame was a possibility. How's he coming along, and are you expecting him to practice this week?
Yeah, he's working hard. He's working hard to do everything he can do to get back as fast as he possibly can. Obviously, he's a great football player, great team leader, and we'll see. We'll see where that is as we continue on. We got to walk through today, being that it's a short week for us, and then, but we'll see. We'll see as the week continues.
What were your takeaways from the chances Jalen was taking over the middle in the passing game? I mean, there was some interceptions, but it seemed like his timing was better, especially the overtime throw to Devontae. Overall, what was your takeaway from that and what you could build on? From
particularly the middle?
Yeah, the middle.
Yeah, I think that there was opportunities there that he did a good job of taking some of those opportunities that he was given, and I think he's always does a good job of taking what the defense gives him. Obviously, never want the turnovers, but he did some really good things. I think there was, we can always look at. I'm always going to look at, obviously the win-loss, the turnovers, and look at that and say that. But, there was a lot of good things on offense. And we were able to move the football against a really good defense. Now, we didn't finish, drives for multiple different reasons. And we turned the ball over for multiple different reasons. But there was a lot to be encouraged by that we're continuing to go into the right direction that we need to go to. That will be something that we talk about today, in our meeting. So, but yeah, I thought he did a good job taking what he gave him. And again, there's for different reasons. There were some plays that didn't work out, and there were some plays that were explosive.
AJ had two plays that were drops over the middle of the field, led the interception, then the one in the end zone. I was wondering what the teaching points are on those two, and what kind of your thoughts on the plays were overall.
Yeah. So obviously uncharacteristic of AJ to have drops, no doubt. Uncharacteristic, just like we've talked about with Jalen, uncharacteristic interceptions as well. For both parties. So, I haven't even went over the tape with them yet. I would hate to say, hey, here's the coaching point without, but there's always, sometimes it's, when you talk about drops, sometimes it's just a drop, and sometimes there's a coaching point that you reiterate, off of a drop. And so we'll go through that today. We'll have our conversations in here about it. But, I know he wants, when anytime he comes to a drop, he wants to catch it more than anybody. So if there's a good coaching point, you go over it. If not, you'd say, hey, make sure you work this catch, 10 times more than you would have had you not dropped it. So that's kind of how we go through that.
The play before halftime, why did it not seem with 2 timeouts that there was any option in the middle of the field to maybe get the easier field goal attempt?
Yeah. Again, so you got the ball there at the 30 with 2 timeouts. We're trying to advance it. The way we tried to advance it was to the sideline, and it didn't work. So, we have plays in our offense to be able to advance it without getting too much, in the middle. And then we have plays in our playbook that try to advance it on the sideline. And we chose the one on the sideline, and it didn't work.
Some of the things that went well for the offense, Saquon took some handoffs when Jalen was lined up under center that ended up in some chunk gains. What about those plays in particular worked well, and how do you feel like you can replicate?
Yeah, many different ways that you can create explosives in the run game, under center, in the gun. There's screens that are like runs. There are shovels that are like runs. So there's many different ways to go about it. I think at the end of the day, we got great. There were good schemes, introduced by the coaches, and then there was good execution, right, by the players, and so, with really good fundamentals. So, on those particular ones, that's Saquon found some light and was able to get free, and that was huge.
From your perspective, there looked to be, to us at least, some different additions into the offense, and you mentioned the ball going the right way. Is how much of that is trying to get that involved versus Jalen deciding, okay, this is where the football needs to be on a certain play?
Yeah, every time that Jalen has the ball in his hands, he's got to make the decision of where the football goes based off of, the read on the play, what the defense is doing. And so, I don't think there's anything different as far as that goes. I've had some of those concepts in before, did a couple of them a couple different ways to create some explosives. But, again, thought there were some things to be encouraged. And obviously we got to, again, we thought we were explosive as an off. We were more explosive than, we won the explosive play battle, I guess is what I'm saying. But you just got to win that turnover battle, and we got to finish drives to get to see the full array of what we want to be on offense.
When it comes to anticipation for the quarterback, how can you guys help him get better at that?
Of anticipating, yeah, it's always about.
With anticipation.
Yeah, it's always about we're constantly talk through and think through. I guess it's like really anything, right? You constantly talk through what your timing is of your footwork, and then you watch the tape when it's on, and you praise when it's on, and you correct when it's off. So that's no different than a receiver in his route, and if their footwork being on and them being in the right spot. So, that's something. That's how you coach it. Is you first of all, your job description's clear with what what the read is, what you want to happen on the play. And then you get into walkthroughs and you get into practice, and you correct it or you praise it if it's met. As far as there's different things we could do scheme wise that we have without getting too much into that. But those are all those different things. I thought that he had a lot of good throws that he was anticipating, and that was a result of him taking the proper footwork, him going through his read in a great time, and getting to the right guy.
Saquon has said that during the week the vibes at practice and the locker room are really high, but then on Sunday he's noticed it's been a problem. I was wondering what you see, and maybe if you agree, why the good vibes during the week don't seem to be transferring to the sideline on Sunday.
Yeah, I think Sunday is about being locked into what you're doing, and not that Monday, Tuesday that is too, but. You're in everybody's in a routine on the sideline, right? It's like the free throw shot. You want to go through your same routine every single time in between series. So sometimes you're focused on the routine, and sometimes it's a result of, hey, it's not going the way you want it to go. There's a difference between being completely focused and locked in when it's not going well. The vibe might be not as high when it's not going well. I mean, I think that's human nature, right? Like, you're not going to be like, yeah, we punted on whatever, you know what I mean? So I think that's natural of that, in the sense of, Stout always says this: execution fuels emotion, and so that's what we're focused on, locked in on, is executing. We're focused on trying to get them in the right, put them in positions to succeed and go from there. And I think that's what happens when I think you'll see more vibe, I guess to say, as we, because we're confident as we start to execute and coach even better.
Like that were with the reads and the run game for our offense on Sunday, or last Monday, were there more opportunities where Jalen might have had an opportunity to run, just didn't happen in those plays, or just curious about?
Yeah, without getting too much into that, we had some runs called that some early on into that football game that we called, and they did a good job of stopping it. So some of those kind of, as just like you adjust to try to attack things that you think you can attack, you do that same adjustment for something that might not be working at that particular time. So hats off to them. They were able to stop some of those types of runs. But we always want that to be part of our of who we are and what we do.
All right, that's Nick Sirianni. He was asked the vibe question that Saquon Barkley was talking about, and he kind of gave an answer saying, "Oh, well, everybody's in the routine, and it's game day." No, it's not. I mean, the real answer is that when you're struggling on offense, you're not going to be having fun and laughing and slapping knees on the sideline. Everybody's tight because the offense is struggling, and that's what you're seeing right now. So it's really not. You get this all the time with baseball. When the Phillies offense is struggling, and it looks like there's low energy, looks like there's bad body language. Guess what? Because there is. If you're going up there and for the second straight night you only manage 3 hits and you lose another game, it's natural to where you look like it's like, oh well, there's lower energy up there. Yeah, that's what happened with the Eagles. The vibes aren't great. I mean, this has been talked about. The locker room. Tim McManus was on with this. It's like, the locker room. On defense, everybody's smiling and in a good mood, and on offense, they're not so much. They're tight because the offense is struggling. So when Saquon says that, the vibes on the sideline are kind of what they are. All right, I get it. You wish somebody would step up and do something, and everybody would play a little bit looser. Easier said than done. They're out there getting booed. They have another 3 and out. You think after 2 3 and outs in a row and the fans are booing you, but it's going to be good vibes on the sideline? No. I mean, put yourselves in their situation. All they need to do is turn it around on offense, and all those things change. Success changes things. It does. So I honestly think I think the whole vibes on the sideline is directly connected to the success they're having on the field. Period. And I'm glad Elliot asked Nick about it, because it's interesting to hear the answer, but he gave everybody's in in their zone if it's game day or whatever. No, man, it's not.
It's business mode.
Yeah, business. No, they need to turn things around, period. The offense needs to play better.
Yeah. Kind of a nothing burger in terms of what he was going to give us, I guess, salaciously. Lane Johnson potentially being back, kind of danced around that answer because he never gives any injury updates, but that was about the best non-answer of maybe he's going to be around as you could get. I was hoping that when he said there were a couple of different things you could attribute turnovers to, the natural follow-up to that would be, well, what would you attribute the uncharacteristic number of turnovers to? Not that he was going to bury Hurts, not that he was going to bury A.J. Brown. We found out a little bit later that he wasn't going to bury A.J. Brown because somehow one of the most detail-oriented coaches in the National Football League has yet to go through the tape with his wide receiver because I guess he hasn't seen him yet.
Right.
But he said he goes through it today. So
with him.
Yeah. So if you go through it today with him, my follow-up on Friday is you went through the tape with A.J. Brown.
What did you say?
What did you guys go through?
Yeah, and honestly, you asked me coaching points. You know what my answer would have been? We're talking about A.J. Brown here. He doesn't drop balls a lot. It's uncharacteristic of him. Of course, we'll have conversations, but I don't like A.J. Brown's one of the best wide receivers in the NFL, and I'm sure he'd like to have those passes back, and those kind of things happen over the course of an NFL season. I'm not talking about coaching points.
Yeah.
It was weird.
Yeah, and I'd like the direct question.
Which he kind of did.
About the end of the half.
Yes.
That was good. His answer, not so much.
Right.
We have plays that go over the middle of the field. We have plays that don't. We went with one that doesn't.
But the whole thing was off because he originally was just going to kick the field goal, and then I guess they talked him into going for it, and then Jalen Hurts couldn't find his helmet. So that they had 2 timeouts left there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why not use one?
Well, and Hurts walking off the field looked annoyed that they even did anything.
Yep.
Like, oh, yeah, I came running back out for this, where we're going to throw it to the sideline. Nothing's available on the sideline, and we're just going to kick it anyways.
Well, I mean, is that what was the call actually to the sideline, or was that, like there's a second read on that to where maybe it's somebody else? I mean, I don't actually know what was supposed to happen on the play.
Yeah, I don't know on that one. Last question there about Hurts running the football. You got the stammering of a guy that had more to say about that, but was searching for the answer.
But's not going to say it. Yep.
Yeah. That was about the best in terms of non-answer. Ooh, what does he mean by that? We got. And that's the analysis of the press conference I got that we waited 11 minutes after he was scheduled to speak to listen to.
So do we see now more designed Jalen Hurts runs? Do we start to see that? It's been speculated that they're waiting. You can't wait anymore. We had Zach Berman from The Athletic on earlier in the show, and I asked him, I think I said the Eagles will only go as far as Jalen Hurts' arm will take them. And Zach said, I disagree. His legs is going to be what needs to take them. So in answering it that way, I think Zach is telling you without the dual threat of Jalen Hurts, they're going nowhere. And you need to be able to run the ball. And I agree with that, but you can't. You're not going to be able to hide Jalen Hurts. You're not going to be able to just run. Last year, for the most part, not in the Super Bowl, but for the most part, you ran your way to the number 1 seed, or not even the number 1 seed. You ran the ball through the NFC last year. You did with Saquon Barkley and with Jalen Hurts. You're not doing that this year with either party. Do you believe that they need Jalen Hurts to run?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you believe that's enough? I mean, I guess that's the follow-up to it is like, okay, because I don't think it's enough. Jalen Hurts, and because you don't have Saquon Barkley, it can help the running game, the threat of Jalen keeping it and running it, but he's got to improve as a passer. You're not going to make it deep in the playoffs without that.
Yeah, just no rhythm to this offense. Like him breaking off a couple more runs doesn't give me the insurance that they're going to be able to build off of those runs and turn it into something more.
Correct.
Like, he runs for 15 yards. That's great. Sustaining drives hasn't been the MO of this group. You find something, a new wrinkle in the offense, maybe there's a chunk play there. And maybe that chunk play puts you in a position to kick a field goal instead of punting. But, I can't tell you. And once you put it that way, it's like, I really am down bad about this offense.
Yeah.
Because there's a potential solution, but I don't know if it's fixing everything.
All right, coming up, we do it in 1 o'clock hour, Ray. We have a pair of tickets to the 76ers Pacers game on Friday night. We've been giving them out all week. We're not giving them out. You have to earn it. Mm-hmm. Today's another way to earn it. We're playing Guess the Moment. We'll explain that. That's coming up at about 1:10, 1:15. Your phone call's coming up next as well. It is Middays with Marks, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Hearing from Sirianni, I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. We just heard from the head coach, Nick Sirianni. Listen to it live right here on Middays with Marks as he addressed the media following 3 consecutive losses for the Eagles. Not a ton you could take from what he had to say. Lane Johnson, he was asked about whether or not the right tackle would be back. He danced around the answer as he always does with health. Got into a couple of different conversation points and turnovers, the drop passes from A.J. Brown, why they didn't just or try something different at the end of the half, why they need to run the ball more with Hurts. But he did a really good job of Coach Speak of keeping everyone off of his back. Someone we actually got some answers from was Zach Berman of The Athletic earlier on in the show. You go back and listen to that conversation with him in the 11 o'clock hour on our website, the Fanatic app, or you can rewind on YouTube. Elsewhere, the Phillies down at the winter meeting signed Kyle Schwarber to a 5-year, $150 million contract yesterday. Jason Stark joined Unfiltered to talk about the deal and just what Kyle Schwarber brings to this team.
This had to happen. He was the centerpiece of their entire offseason. They had to send him out there into the free agent market to try to figure out what's he actually worth, because there's nobody comparable to him. There's nobody like him, really, in the history of the sport.
You can listen to that full conversation on the Fanatic app as well. This update is brought to you by Super Sure. Do you own a small business? You need to hear the seismic shift is coming. It's time to get Super Sure. Not kind of sure, not pretty sure, but Super Sure. Coming soon. I'm Ray Dunn for 97.5 The Fanatic.
All right, we're back. Middays with Marks, 97.5. The Fanatic. Ray actually, if you remember the Right Said Fred video, Ray was dressed like this morning when he came in, but I made him get changed.
Quite a music video I got rolling in here on the company Wi-Fi.
Do you know? It's not that bad. It's because he's wearing leather.
I'm not talking about him.
Oh, I didn't even.
You think I'm talking about him?
I don't even know what all I know is that it's a ridiculous video. Anyway.
That it is.
We do have some breaking MLB news there, Ray Dunn. So, isn't it weird how all along everything that everybody said about Kyle Schwarber has been literally like it was like a script? He's going to go back to the Phillies. He's going to get 4, maybe 5 years. He's going to get around $30 million a year. He's going to get signed at the winter meetings. And then once he signs, then the other guys will follow. So Pete Alonso has followed. What are the details that you're seeing here, Ray Dunn?
All right, we got this. Jeff Passett appears to be first on it. The Orioles, who are ready to give Kyle Schwarber a 5-year, $150 million contract, have given Pete Alonso a 5-year, $155 million contract, which means Polar Bear Pete out of the NL East to the AL East, and the Mets lose out on their first base.
What are the numbers again?
5 years, $155 million.
Wow, okay. Wow. Yeah, see, I didn't think Alonso was going to have that market.
Alonso making more than Schwarber is just because they believe that he can play first base.
Okay, but and obviously they were wrong, but didn't you see a lot of Alonso 3 years or like he was going to make good money? Because he didn't really have a huge market for him for last year.
Right.
He went back.
And this is interesting. Heyman just put this one out. Alonso ends up making $205 in the 7 years after he turned down $158 for 7, which I think was what the Mets tried to give him ahead of him going to free agency last year. So he ends up kind of making out on this deal.
Sure.
For the Orioles, it kind of shuts up their fan base, with all due respect to our good friends down in Baltimore, that they don't spend any money because they just went out and spent money on someone. They went and got out Alonso. And for the Mets, you go from Devin Williams as a setup man, and Uncle Stevie's going to take care of the rest, to Devin Williams is your closer. You lost out. Diaz is out there in L.A. now, and your first baseman now plays in Baltimore.
All right, couple things. Would you rather take the Philadelphia stuff aside out of it, because it matters here, but would you rather have Alonso or Schwarber for the next 5 years?
Alonso profiles as a DH very soon.
Yeah, he can play first base, but it doesn't mean he plays it well. But
Rhys Hoskins played first base.
Right, he's probably I think he's better than that, but not much.
He's better than that.
But not much.
I mean, he's hurt, 2 pitchers now with the throws to first?
Yep.
I'd be I'm just saying.
So
I'm fine with Kyle Schwarber.
But take him out of it. Alonso, I'm surprised he made more money than Schwarber. Honestly.
I am. I think it is a part of, hey, he can play that position. Also, Schwarber signed first. If you're going to be the guy that signs first, you lose out on money.
Well, I mean, it's like that in the NFL, but I didn't think it was going to be the case here. I didn't think he was getting 5 years, even though I read earlier this week that he's looking for 7 years, and I'm like, well, yeah, sure you are. He got 5 years, and he got $5 million more than Schwarber did. I'm surprised.
It's just amazing to see the Mets strike out like that.
So that's my next question is this by design? Because, I mean, it's a lot of money for Pete Alonso, but, their owner wants to spend money and wants to win. So, to me, it says, like, they're okay. You have to be okay with losing somebody if you're going to let them walk. The Phillies were not okay with losing Kyle Schwarber. I mean, honestly, who's the last good player the Phillies were okay with losing? Hoskins. And that was purely a numbers game.
Yeah, and a position game, too, yeah.
They didn't. He couldn't make him a DH.
Yep.
Because you had Schwarber. He wasn't going to play first base because Bryce was playing first base. He was really bad as a first baseman.
And, hey, I know we really like him. Wife bought beers for everyone. He hasn't been good in Milwaukee.
Yeah, he wasn't good in Milwaukee.
He's good against us.
Yeah.
Hasn't been good in Milwaukee.
All right, so why? Why do you let these good players leave?
Dare I say Uncle Stevie acted a little bit like a fan? I spent all this money. This team stunk this year. It disappointed the absolute you-know-what out of me. And you know what? We need to have a little bit of a reset.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Like, they signaled to you they weren't going to be at all attached emotionally to guys when you sent Nimmo out.
Yep. That's a good point.
When you trade Nimmo, it's like, all right, we don't care about the locker room vibe of this thing. Diaz, you've been good for us. We think we can go out there and pay someone a little bit less than you to get the job that you do. Alonso, you've been here a while. You've given us moments. You're the franchise's leader in home runs, right? I think he's the all-time leader in home runs for the Mets. We don't think you're worth this in the long term. We think we can replace that. Ultimately, I think he says, I'm going to open up my checkbook, but not for the guys that I've already seen disappoint me. I don't know who he's going to get, but that kind of seems the message they're sending.
Well, is this a reboot? Is this a reset? We're not going to overpay these guys because Soto's making a lot of money.
Yeah.
Everything has to be surrounding him. Who are the players that you're putting on this team that work well with Soto? Because apparently, was it Lindor and Soto that weren't getting along?
Yeah, up in the New York Post they reported.
I mean, that's true. Your two best players don't get along. You can get rid of all these other players. But I agree with you. The fact that you've moved on from multiple longtime Mets tell you they're trying to make this Soto's team. Soto and Lindor's team.
And making this Soto's team, not that the Mets accomplished anything in this short window they've had, but the Mets beat the Phillies, get themselves to the doorstep, and then sign Soto. You spent, $750 million ultimately when it's all said and done on Soto?
Yep.
I love Juan Soto the town as much as the next guy. And I hate how much people always put on what's the reason behind. Do people really like him in the clubhouse? I hate that storyline as much as the next guy. But if you're flipping over an entire clubhouse to cater to Soto, when that clubhouse gave you a successful season the year before,
without him,
does beg a little bit of the question.
But the Mets season before, when you look at that team, and they brought those guys back. Some of the starting pitchers overachieved.
Well, yeah.
Who's the third baseman? Always kills the Phillies.
Vientos.
Yeah, that was a career year for him. He overachieved. You had a bunch of guys that overachieved on that team.
You did, but a Lindor, Alonso, Nimmo, even Soto, putting Soto on the top of that lineup, that top four I talked about all summer, that was the top four that was good. And if you have this young pitching around them where you're not paying that pitching, going out and adding to that core instead of breaking that core up, you could give yourself the case of an argument that you had enough young arms coming into this rotation. If you added one proven commodity, maybe you could get yourself back in the 90 wins and you could play the game that a lot of teams play with. Get us into the postseason, we're going to figure it out. They're not playing that card right now. They're hitting a massive reset here.
Yep. Well, listen, they don't have the championship-type players like the Phillies do. Otto Kemp.
Oh, God.
As Dave Dombrowski said yesterday, championship-type player.
He's
Get in
going
the
to start.
zone. Get in the zone. Yeah, of course he's a starter. I've been telling you this for how long?
No, he's going to start. Not that he's a starter. He's going to start.
Well,
it's a very clear distinction I just said. I chose my words carefully there with you, Johnny Marks.
I totally disagree with you. I totally disagree. He's a starter in Major League Baseball. Are you nuts? He doesn't project to be a great corner outfielder or maybe the best defensive third baseman. He's a starter in this league. He will be a starter. He will get. Now, is he a platoon starter? Is he a platoon plus? Okay. All right, he's at least 400 bats a season going forward if he can stay healthy. And he's got pop in that bat, homeboy. More than Bohm.
We're talking about a guy who got 62 games, 200-plus plate appearances in Major League Baseball, and had a 709 OPS in that
Rookie
time.
year? No.
Yeah.
He's not the youngest player in the world.
No.
I'll give you your argument.
No, he's my age.
Rookie year, he's Ray's age. And, yeah, and he's better than Bohm. I'll take him over Bohm every day of the week.
Now he's not better than Bohm.
You know who Dombrowski didn't call a championship-type player? Alec Bohm. That's who.
He should.
And by the way,
he should be peppering that trade value right now.
And Otto Kemp played with a broken kneecap, a fractured kneecap, and he powered through it. He did it in June.
Yeah, he powered through it.
He damn right.
Yeah, a lot of power.
He had surgery after the season to correct the fractured kneecap.
Oh, good. What I need is my 26-year-old prospect with a bad knee coming to be my starting third baseman.
He's not a prospect. He's a now.
Well, he's not a prospect. You're right, because he's 26.
A little old to be a prospect. Crawford, you give a little bit of leeway because he's so young. That's not count.
Well, here's the thing. I can't give leeway in a championship window. Either these guys are going to be something or you're not.
Well, they don't have a choice.
And that's the problem. That's ultimately when you get on this path.
They are going to go into this season probably with an outfield and a third baseman need. They're going to go into the season with those two needs. And Dombrowski's going to have to figure it out on the fly by getting lucky on a minor league contract or a trade that he makes, or something happens, or like a guy like Kemp turns into a starter and it's like, wow, he's really good. And then the outfielder you're going to have to trade for. You'll be able to trade for one, but not both. And they're going to be the holes in your team. You're going to be an outfielder or two short. And if Kemp's your third baseman, it may not be good enough.
So the outfield. Let's just go down this path real quick. Marsh, Kemp, left field platoon. Crawford in center. And
it depends if Kemp's your third baseman. If Billman's traded, Kemp is at least your 2/3 to a half third baseman, right? And do you want him playing the outfield and third base?
No. I mean,
he's your third baseman.
Truthfully, I just want him in a platoon if we're going to roll with this. If we're going down the path of...
All right, continue with the outfield.
I'm just saying, like, you're going to end up going down the path of right field. We had Castellanos in it for a lot of last season. It can't really get much worse defensively range-wise, so we'll put whoever in right field, or that might end up being in platoon too.
You're going to get a bona fide outfielder, signed or traded for.
Bona fide in the sense that they're going to play every day?
They're a legitimate starter in baseball.
All right, I hope.
I hope it's not Bader, but it could be Bader, it could be Bellinger. It's going to cost a lot more money. I think he's going to be too expensive. And then you're going to need an outfielder, and you might have to give Bader a third year.
And Bader goes to center. If you have Crawford a part of the plans, Crawford ends up in left. And are you moving Marsh and whoever the right-handed bat is to right? I mean, because
Weston Wilson.
Weston Wilson, the right fielder. Oh,
yeah,
God.
It's not. Yeah, it's not ideal.
Oh God, yeah, it's not ideal, but you are laying out a realistic possibility.
There are too many players short right now.
Oh, I'm gonna go lay down on the couch out there. I need therapy.
All right, coming up, your chance to win 76ers tickets. So Ray, explain what we're doing coming up next. I guess people can get dialing right now.
Yeah, I would get dialing right now at 610-632-0975 because we're playing Guess the Moment. We have a Tom McGinnis call of a moment in 76ers recent history where we have edited out pieces of it, and you have to fill in the piece for us.
Because the pieces would be...
The piece would be the player that did
the giveaway.
It. Yes. You got to give me the player and the moment.
A Tom McGinnis call, and you have to identify the player and the moment.
Yes.
I would not be good at this.
We're going to see if anyone is.
610-632-0975. You're playing for a pair of 76ers tickets. We'll tell you about that coming up next. Middays with Marks, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Wednesday, December 10th.
This is when I was looking for the newer ones. Ray's dancing on YouTube.
What a great time of my life.
Put this in rotation.
Please.
What was this, 2016, 2015?
It had to have been earlier than that because the Heat did this. Remember?
I do.
It was the LeBron D-Wade. Yeah. That team didn't need a vibe bunny. It just needed the Harlem Shake. That had to be like 2013.
You look like a stripper in there dancing, right? You did a chest shake where it's like you're shaking your boobies. I know.
That was the whole Harlem Shake thing. I'm thinking of LeBron with this cape on.
No, but you look like you've done it before.
It's the Harlem Shake.
I know, but like you're very fluid in doing it. I've seen it. I wouldn't be able to do the boob shake like you did. It was great.
Thank you.
You have to go back. That's why you got to watch YouTube.
Yeah, go back and watch Ray shake his chest.
So I'm looking from my vantage point on Ray. I'm in the other room behind glass, but it's like I look pretty much. If I'm looking at Ray, I'm looking to the left of the camera. So I don't want to be looking in the camera. So I'm looking to the left of the camera, I guess, to my right. And, so I can see Ray relatively well, but I'm also like, my sight's not very good. But I see Ray in there dancing, and I'm like, wow, he really looks like he's moving. So then I look on YouTube, which is a couple seconds behind, and you can see Ray's body. So I couldn't see the shaking that was going on because I can only see from his neck down. Dutz. Nate and Dutz, get the Harlem Shake. That's a great moment.
I'm a big fan of the Harlem Shake.
Dude, I did my job. It was worth getting all these things just for that.
Yeah, it was worth the 4 a.m.
It was worth getting up at 4 o'clock and looking for One Hit Wonder Wednesdays.
Which now that we're so deep in the show, the alarm for me this morning did not go off.
What time did you set your alarm for?
5:30.
And what time did you get actually, how many snoozes?
No, so I woke up before it. I turned it off.
No, but typically, how many snoozes?
Oh, a million. I'm like, yeah.
You're a lot of.
Yeah, I snooze all the time.
I won maybe. It's been one a lot recently, but it's never more than one. Because what I do is that I'll hit the snooze and then I'll count. I'll be like, all right, I'm counting down from a minute, and then I gotta get up. And half of that time I will get up. This morning I did not. So then it goes, was like 6:07 or 5:07. So it's like 5:07 it was going up, and then I get up and whatever. But so this morning you turned it off. What time did you wake up?
6:50.
Yeah, you could, even if you slept till 8 o'clock, you'd be fine to get up and come here. You may not be as prepared as you should be.
Yeah, well,
but you'd be all right.
That was more the issue of last night. I had everything bookmarked I wanted for the sheet. Right. I had half the sheet put together. I fell asleep on the couch, woke up from falling asleep on the couch, went into the room, set the alarm for 5:30 because the sheet wasn't ready yet, and then
went right back to sleep.
Went right back to sleep once that I beat the alarm. I was up at 5:15 naturally. And then,
you woke up when your body's normally used to waking up, and then you went back to bed. And Ray, damn you, because we're trying to give away a pair of 76ers tickets, and your Harlem Shake just took us away from that.
True. That's on me.
It was worth it. All right, we're playing for a pair of Sixers tickets against the Pacers. That's on Friday night at the Xfinity Mobile Arena. You can get all of your single-game tickets at Sixers.com. Should be a good game. Sixers should get a win in that game. Hey, man, even with Embiid and how it takes all the fun, it drains the fun from me, all the Embiid stuff, Maxey's as good as it gets right now. I mean, he really, really is. He's an absolute pleasure to watch. All right, so let's do it. Here's the phone number, 610-632-0975. We're going to play, what are we calling it again?
Guess
Ray?
the moment.
Guess the moment. So Ray has taken a play from a game, an actuality from a game with Tom McGinnis on the call, and he's deleted who it is.
Correct.
So you have to figure out who makes the basket and what's the game.
What's the significance? We're not just playing a random January layup in the second quarter. We're playing.
It's a notable play.
It's a notable play.
That you would know where it's from, or you should know where it's from.
Right, and if you've followed the Sixers over the last decade, post-process, it's a pretty notable moment in their time frame.
All right, so let's do this. Let's play it, and then I'll give the phone number, and we'll start taking some calls. Here it is.
13 to shoot. The ball is into Embiid. Embiid guarded by Tatum. Left-hand dribble into the lane at the dotted circle. Double teamed out the Three-point shot for the lead is good. Converts. 18 seconds to go.
All right, so
For three, he's got 42. Boston ball, no timeout. Celtics trail by 1, and now the Sixers need to stop.
Wow, you really gave a lot of that highlight. All right, so I'll say this: I know exactly what it is. I would have to think about what it is, or what exactly it is. Let's go to the phones. Tom, 610-632-0975. Name that moment, Tom.
Is this me?
It's you.
I'm going to say James Harden.
And when did the game happen? What game?
When we blew it like 2 years ago, playoffs, game 2?
3 seconds.
Game 2?
Game 2. Incorrect. All right. Sorry, Tom. Let's go to Mo in Horsham. Mo, name that moment.
Was it the Kawhi Leonard quadruple doink?
Now, you got a double buzzer for that one. 610-632-0975. Casey, name that moment.
That sounds like James Harden. That 2 years ago for the divisional round?
Ray, I have to ask the judges. He needs more information.
I need more information from you.
Shoot.
I would say you're right on. I would say you're right on the date.
Let's say elimination game 5.
Game 5. Oh, so close.
So to revisit here, what we have:
James Harden,
and
Game 5's incorrect.
And Game 2 is also incorrect.
Let's go to Liam in West Effort. Liam, name that moment.
Yeah, is that Game 4, Harden for the 3 in the right corner?
Okay, we have a winner, Liam from West Effort. Congratulations, Liam.
Let's go.
So I went and I looked. Do we realize, Liam, how close that team was to beating? I mean, they were up 3-2 in that series over the Celtics, man.
It still hurts. It still hurts.
Game 4, James Harden. We really let him leave, and I felt like it was the right move, by the way, because I just didn't like him. He was really good in that series. Didn't he ever score over 40 points twice?
Yep. Game 1 and Game 4.
Wow.
Yeah.
In that game. Listen, who are you taking to the game with you, Liam?
Oh, it's going to be my girlfriend.
Nice. All right, man. Well, thanks for listening. Enjoy it, all right?
Cool. Thanks, man.
All right, buddy. There he is, Liam. Trying to pull up why is it so hard to bring up the box score?
So the issue with that series with Harden was, if I remember correctly, he won you 2 games in that series, and he also lost you 2 games in that series.
Last and the decisive game, he was horrible.
Yeah, they all were.
But you know what? He didn't even shoot, if you remember. And I have to look at it right now. But he didn't even try. This is what happens with him.
And down the stretch in Game 6, they had the lead late in Game 6. The ball doesn't get to Embiid at all late in that game, and they turtled up offensively. I remember, I think there were multiple, was it Niang shots late in that game?
Bang, bang?
Yeah, whoever was shooting late in that game, I remember just being like, who in their right mind? And I was so excited. That Game 6, I was out watching my buddy who's a Celtics fan, and I was like, finally, I'm going to have the moment where I can hold this over you. And then I had to watch that collapse against them.
Game 5, they win 115-103, and that puts them up 3-2. Maxey had 30 in that game. Embiid scored 30. Harden 17. And this is the game. He took 8 shots, but he had 10 assists. So the other guys were hitting, man, and they won. And then you go to Game 6, Celtics 95-86, and Embiid 9 for 19. How many points did he have? Let's see. 26 points. Maxey had 26 points. Harden had 13. It was 4 of 16. So he comes back shooting 0 for 6 from 3. So then what does he do in Game 7? He turtles up, and he doesn't even really do much.
Yeah, nobody showed in that game. At that point in my time at the station, I was doing a lot of Sixers highlight cutting. I just remember sitting in this studio, Game 7, all right, well, there's not going to be anything else I have to cut here. And it was the second quarter. So this season's over. This could be the easiest shift I've ever worked during a Sixers game.
Harden 3 of 11. Yeah, Embiid, 5 of 18. Hey, your stars don't show up in the biggest game.
Yep.
Kind of been Joel Embiid.
There was it Tobias was the only one that showed up in that game?
Toby and Bobby. Bobby, of course, not playing anymore. Toby, 7 of 13 and 19 points.
And I think he had a lot of that in the first half. I think he might have been the only reason they were in it in that game. But my memory might not serve me. And
well, they weren't in it.
But like at the end of the first half, it was closer than you would think. And the third quarter, they just got
blown.
bombarded by 3.
No, they actually they were only behind by 3 at the half. They were up 29-23 at the end of 1.
Yeah.
I do not remember that.
That second quarter, I think Tobias willed them to stay in it, and then the third quarter, the dam broke. God, what a terrible thing to say. Tobias kept them in it.
Yeah, it's the only time you could say that.
Yeah. 0 points, right? Last game as a Sixer.
Yep.
Me and him, same. Yeah.
Isn't it? I hate. You know what, Ray? I hate the Embiid conversation. I hate it. I only want to have it. I hate it. He's been a great talent. He's been he's one of the franchise players of this team or whatever. And then the next thing you say, or maybe you say it even before it, is that's Joel Embiid, Game 7. That's Joel Embiid in like he's had good games, but in games like that, that's where Joel Embiid, when the lights shine in the brightest, Joel Embiid is not at his best. He just hasn't been.
Hey, hasn't found it. That big moment. Yeah, I just got text Tom Alford, our old buddy who was the Sixers producer at that time. I think we were working together at that game. It was Tobias and PJ Tucker, the best Tucker game offensively in that first half.
Was he shooting threes in that game? Oh, my God.
Oh, PJ Tucker.
But you know what? That's not that long ago.
Feels like
it feels like 5 years ago, at least. And Harden, Harden had that 1 year. Remember Daryl? Daryl gave him the wink, wink.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to re-sign you the big contract. And
Daryl Morey's a liar.
And you know what happened? Josh Harris said, "Are you crazy? We're not giving this guy 5-year max money." That's what happened.
Yeah,
I'm telling you.
Next year, go give 4 years to Paul George.
I am fairly confident in saying this. I think internally, not basketball ops guys, just everybody that kind of knows the city and has been around was like, "Listen, Josh, I don't really know if maxing out Harden is a good idea in this town." And they're probably right.
Yeah. Not exactly a great time to be a Clippers fan.
He's still scoring points, man. He's something else, James Harden, I'll tell you.
Yeah, that first year might have been nice, maybe.
Yeah, the first year would have been fine, but then he would have been, man, when he gets spooked, he gets spooked.
Uh-huh.
It is nuts. All right, coming up. This is going to be, right, it's going to become more of a segment than just on the day after NFL games.
How about that?
Multiple times a week, because I hear sound all the time because everything is available now and everybody does video interviews and stuff. And there's just so much fun stuff we can play. So that's what we're going to use. How about that? Coming up next, we have LeGarrette Blount talking about the Eagles, another Eddie O story, and more. How about that? Coming up next, Middays from Mark.
How about that?
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Sirianni speaks. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. We heard from Nick Sirianni, carried the presser live for you at the 12 o'clock hour as the Eagles head coach. Answered the questions, but didn't answer a lot of our questions. Talking a lot around what the reporters were looking for. The biggest thing you get, maybe the health of Lane Johnson, as he dodged a question about his health, gave not really an update on him, but maybe we get to see Lane Johnson coming up this weekend as the right tackle wasn't put on injured reserve a couple of weeks ago. He's missed 3 games at this point. Maybe we're getting close to that timeline. Other than that, not a ton to take from the head coach. Something you can take a ton from our conversation with Zach Berman of The Athletic. We talked to him in the 11 o'clock hour. You can listen back to that on the Fanatic app or our website, 975thefanatic.com. Winter meetings continuing down in Orlando. The Phillies signing Kyle Schwarber to a 5-year, $150 million contract. Jason Stark joined Unfiltered yesterday. Talked about the deal.
This had to happen. He was the centerpiece of their entire offseason. They had to send him out there into the free agent market, try to figure out what's he actually worth, because there's nobody comparable to him. There's nobody like him, really, in the history of the sport.
That's right. Kyle Schwarber gets his 5-year, $150 million deal for the Phillies. They also gave Rob Thompson another season. This update brought by Mercedes-Benz. Despite winter conditions, heavy traffic, holidays must go on. That's why Mercedes-Benz SUVs come with the latest safety technology. Find incredible offers at the Mercedes-Benz Holiday Love Celebration. I'm Ray Dunn for 97.5 The Fanatic.
The Philadelphia.
This is Tom Cochran. I actually have this on my playlist on my phone. Because the Rascal Flatts, I guess, remade it at some point.
Is that the one that got more popular?
Yes. I think that's it. Because there's one that's a modern one that's much more popular than. And this was a big hit. Don't get me wrong, but no one knew who Tom Cochran was.
Yeah, I didn't know who sang this. I just knew the song.
So. I've actually Wikipedia'd him. He's a Canadian artist.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Enjoy some maple syrup.
So you should follow our show account on Twitter. It's at 975 Middays. Ray's Harlem Shake is now up on there. And
yep, that'll live forever.
And I'm not just saying this. Ray looks like he's got some rhythm. It is not bad, man. No, not only is it not bad, it's good. I think if anybody objectively looked at this, check out the video and let us know. If anybody objectively watched this, I think they'd have to say, damn, the white man looks like he can dance.
Yeah, spend a night hanging out with me. You will immediately take that back.
And you're sober, which is interesting.
Yeah, I can have a good time.
Are you sober? Were you hitting the bottle in there? What's going on?
That's why I was passed out this morning. That's why I missed the alarm, actually. It was an early morning boozing for me.
It is not. You were, like I think we found something here with some music that gets you going. All right. Well, there you go. That white man can dance. I'm retweeting it right now. All right. Good. I was asking Ricky Bo during the break. He's coming up. Oh, and by the way, Bridget Colarulo checks in and says she wants a Harlem dance shake-off with you and Bill.
Oh. All right. Yeah, I'm in for that.
Because Bill, he dances. Do you remember the day he was in here dancing?
No, I try and block a lot of that out, some of his nonsense.
Maybe you didn't see it or he wasn't here. He was like booty shaking, and it looked way too natural.
Yeah, no, I was here for that.
Maybe somewhat uncomfortable because he wears, the pants he wears are what? They're like tight.
Yep.
And what are they like?
Nothing he wears is actually the size he should be buying.
No, he's got schmedium.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah.
We make fun of the T-shirts because that's what you could see on camera.
Yes, he's well built. Yeah, we don't see the other side.
I'm not going to walk you into a comment you don't want to make. Nah.
All right, let's get
about that.
Let's get to how about that, right? What do we got?
When you see something great.
How about that?
When you see something you hate.
How about that?
When you see something you just need to tell someone about, hit them with a
how about that?
All right, LaShawn McCoy, and I guess this was, I woke up to it, and it wasn't that old, so I think this got released maybe last night, or they did it last night, the Speakeasy podcast.
Yeah, who knows when they're in the Speakeasy at this point.
It's got it's the show that was on FS1 that got canceled, so they just started doing it on the podcast, which is smart. They'll be able to have enough viewers to, I've never watched it.
These clips will be the reason they survive.
It's Emmanuel Acho and Shady and two guys, I don't know who they are.
Yeah. But they said Chase Daniel goodbye and James Jones goodbye.
Right, which was smart. At least Chase Daniel. All right, so how does it set up? So they're talking about Jalen Hurts, and they're talking about Kevin Patullo. And I guess earlier in the episode, Shady was yelling and screaming, like, the Eagles are going to be fine, Eagles are going to be fine. I don't know what you have here. So here's Shady on the Speakeasy show.
I mean, look, is Kevin Patullo doing the best job? Absolutely not. He is not. Is he going to be the offensive coordinator there next year? Absolutely not. He can't.
If he's back, I'm leaving the Eagles. If Kevin's
Where are you
back,
going, Shady? You're in the Hall of Fame. Your jersey's retired.
take me off.
You can't. Take me off is crazy.
Nobody's ever asked.
Take me off.
And I'm gonna say it's either. I'm gonna say, Mr. Lurie. Now, anything I need, he gives me. Mr. Lurie, it's either me or Kevin.
Oh, Shady. I laughed at it. I saw a lot of people in the replies that were like, yeah, fine. You could get him out of the Eagles Hall of Fame. Relax.
Now we're defending Patullo?
Right, exactly. He's done the same thing that you are. Everybody out here wants Kevin Patullo fired. They're egging his house. Shady actually agrees with you, and he's the a-hole.
Two things can't be true. He might be one.
Well, yeah, exactly. All right, LeGarrette Blount. I love this. This is from Good Morning Football. He's wearing an Eagles hoodie while doing this interview. LeGarrette Blount played 1 year in Philadelphia. Obviously, it was memorable. He won a Super Bowl, but he loves that 1 year as an Eagle. Listen to the way he's talking about the team.
Jalen Hurts, anytime he throws the ball over 30 times this season, we're 1-5 right now. So you get Saquon involved in the offense, right? He had 20 touches last night.
We're 1-5. We're 1-5. Not the Eagles. I'm coming on here to give some analysis, and I'm LeGarrette Blount. We're 1-5. You can finish the clip. It's good.
Right?
Yeah.
All carries, right? You got to get him involved in the pass game. He took the Eagles to the promised land last year, and that's because they got him involved in the pass game and in the run game. You got to get him more and more touches. He had 13 carries in the first half, and the second half, including overtime,
All right. I mean, he says they didn't use him enough in the second half, but he says the Eagles the second time. But the first time when he's just talking out of emotion, we're 1-5. Love LeGarrette Blount.
That 2017 team, outside of just how much it's going to live forever with us, it seems like we live forever in the minds of those guys because they couldn't have imagined the world they walked into. And I always go back to Chris Long.
I've interviewed him. He has I don't know if he still does. He has a cannabis company. So he's, I don't know how much is him. Maybe whatever it was, I did interviews where we promoted it. And he was awesome. And all you have to do is talk about that year and talk about the fans in the city. And you could tell he's smiling through the phone. He says it was his favorite year playing sports that year with the Eagles. So I love him.
We want to promote that one more time, that company?
Yeah.
You want to come hang out with us again?
I actually, when I saw it, I was like, I got to find the contact info.
We go meet him in Jersey.
Yeah, man. No kidding. All right, so let's do this because we're going to come back with the YouTube chat recap. And then we have Eddie Ogeron had a really, really good story. So that's coming up next. Middays with Martz, 97.5 The Fanatic.
John Kincade.
my lady, come, my lady. You're my butterfly, sugar, baby. Come, my lady.
We're back. It's a one-hit wonder Wednesday. Middays with Marks, 97.5 The Fanatic. Do you remember this one, Ray?
I only know this song because it was in the rotator bed for one of the shows in which I've worked on over the years. And I only know the instrumental. So to hear words to it was actually startling right there.
It's probably not what you're expecting when you hear the... I don't know what I'd be expecting. But that's the lyrics. It's actually a pretty good song.
I'll go listen to it on the way home.
It's a one-hit wonder. There was one host it was before 97.5 The Fanatic. It was when we were on the AM. That was the ending song. So, because you had the beginning song. We should get an ending song where you're like, all right, where you're like, start rolling the credits and let me say thanks to everybody. And that was his song.
Interesting.
Jody Mack.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
That's what when I hear that song, I think of Jody. So
maybe that's where I forget what host had it in their rotation. Maybe it was just in the station's rotation.
Might have been in from those days because it was the instrumental. He didn't have the lyrics.
Probably was in from those days.
It was from Jody, 2005. Jeez. How about that?
Hey.
We have more of how about that?
Oh.
And we have Eddie O. Did he get a job or has he just been yapping, hoping to get a job? Former LSU coach, won the national championship, longtime USC, big wig at USC.
I've seen him rumored, but I don't think he's.
He said that he would go back to. He said he would go back to LSU, and people are like, "Well, yeah, of course you would." He was talking about it as like an offensive line coach and a recruiter, not as a head coach.
Yeah.
He realizes he's not going back to LSU as a head coach.
Would be hilarious.
But Eddie O, he won a national championship as a head coach, but most of his career was he's like he goes into your house and you're saying, I'm going to your school. He's the recruiter. He's the guy that's the position coach that everybody loves. And when you watch this Bussin' with the Boys interview, or at least the clips of it, you know why. The guy's got great personality and everything else. So here he's talking about, what is he talking about? Oh,
NIL.
He's talking about NIL and kind of like how it used to be and how it is right now. Here's Eddie O.
We all know that SEC was NIL before NIL.
Hey, I
love that laugh.
Look at
we're way past it. Can we now just admit it?
It's all good. Hey, you know what? I say, hey, coach, you've been out of coaching for a while, and how are you going to adjust that NIL? I said, well, it's a minor adjustment. And they said, what do you mean? I said, back then, we used to walk through the back door to cash. Now we just got to walk through the front door to cash.
He knows how to tell a story.
Really does.
He laughs at it because it's funny. Everybody's laughing. Man, he knows how to tell a story. It's true.
Yeah, he laughs at it. The NCAA sees it. It's like
he was telling the Adrian Peterson story. He was trying to recruit Adrian Peterson to USC. We played it earlier. Mm-hmm. And I thought he was going with more money stuff. Where, I mean, look at Reggie Bush. They ended up taking his Heisman because he was doing what everybody else is doing, too. Are you crazy? Oh, that was so bad.
Yeah, there was the coach, the running backs coach that got with the whole, no-show. There are people that legitimately, their livelihood was totally changed, and it wasn't because everybody when it's a head coach, they make millions of dollars. And it's like, yeah, you're doing well for yourself with the USC running back coach, but, you're out of a job for a year versus whatever the fill-in-the-blank head coach is out of a job for a year.
Pete Carroll's got $50 million in the bank, and this guy making $300,000 a year now has to wait until a college is like, all right, we'll bring you on.
Right, and that's the other thing. You had the stink of the NCAA is going to be looking at us if we bring you in here.
Believe me. I'm sure it's more difficult to get a job after something like that happens. Then you get back in. But
eventually you find your way back.
Whatever. I got to check out that whole thing. I've never watched any of those shows on Barstool. I've never actually watched. I know what Bussin' with the Boys is. I guess I've watched Pardon My Take.
Yeah, Pardon My Take's the one that I can consume in full, and it'll make me laugh. And I'll go in, and it's not like I'm looking for a segment. I'm just looking to
watch.
Turn my brain off. It's a really good turn my brain off and just laugh about sports.
The Bussin' with the Boys apparently is very good. I hear people really enjoy that show, and that's Taylor Lewins and
Will Compton, right?
Yeah, Will Compton, and they're really good. All right, let's get to the YouTube Chat Cat recap. Here we go.
It's time for the YouTube Chat Recap.
How about filling us in?
Let me tell you something else, man. Watch us live on YouTube every single weekday.
I can't lie. Let me tell you something.
It's the Middays with Marks YouTube Chat Recap.
Hit me.
AJ seems to be escaping blame. If he catches a couple balls, we win the game despite Hurts playing horribly. Vince from Lawncrest.
Yes. Hurts still played horribly, though.
You're kind of answering your own problem there.
Yeah, Hurts
Finish
still played horribly. But yeah, no, AJ has not caught. Even today, I had to remind myself AJ Brown had 2 really big drops when I was killing Jalen Hurts. He can't throw the ball well enough. You have to remind yourself. Yeah, he gets a touchdown on that last. But see, the last drop, I don't consider that a drop. Should he have had it? Yes. Is it a routine catch? No, it's not.
It's not a routine catch. It's probably the best placed ball, though, of the game.
It was a great throw. He needs to make that play, but it's not. It's like an error in baseball. There's a routine play that you have to make. There's a play that you really should make, and then there's an error. I don't think that was an error. I think that's a play he needs to make.
That's fair. That's a play he needs to make. The
other drops were drops.
If he's Greg Ward,
errors.
I don't expect him to make that play. He's AJ Brown.
He makes $30 million a year.
Yeah.
No, you got to catch it.
And it doesn't get Jalen off the hook because Jalen. The debate we would have had yesterday would have been, wow, Jalen Hurts played so bad but made that play at the end. And it would have been the people that just say the play at the end is what matters.
Right.
They won.
Right.
And we don't have to have that debate because they didn't win.
You're right. Hit me.
Do John and Ray text each other to make sure they wear the same color every night? Todd from Delco.
I did not realize that till right now.
Are we in the same color? Is it like
Similar.
Right? Yeah.
But that's kind of Ray's color palette. I wear brighter clothes normally, but this is my wife got this for me for an early birthday present. So I kind of went with everything today.
Yeah. I mean, this is the first time I've worn this, I think, in a while.
So Vanna commented that Ray has all of his buttons up. He's wearing like a Henley shirt.
Yeah,
it's
it
gray.
should be unbuttoned at the top.
It should. The third button up top should be unbuttoned. But Ray brings up a point why it's not. You need to, he's got hair bulging out of every crevice of his body.
It actually wasn't buttoned the first segment, and I saw the camera cut to me, and I was like, you know what? That button needs to go up. And if I was out and about, that button would be...
Would it be down?
Out and about.
You got to trim that. You can't... listen, I'm right there with you. But the one day I didn't even realize that I didn't have the one button. It wasn't even buttoned down all the way. And I got crap. We were like, oh, look at Marks with where's your gold chain? With the hairy chest.
Yeah. It's so much effort to put in for something that's so...
Hey, listen. One day I'm going to come in and I'm going to unbutton it. I'm going to bait people into it. I'm going to bring a big medallion gold chain and I'm going to have that chest hair out. I'm just going to do the show and not say anything. And people are going to be like, "Oh my god." Seriously, I'm going to do it next week too. I'm going to get a fake gold chain that you can get off Amazon for nothing. I'm going to come in with the hairiest chest I've ever had. I'll style it. You don't want to talk about good content. All right, what's next?
I would rather see Jalen taking shots down the field and throwing picks than to see the same old boring offense that doesn't throw the ball downfield. Joe from the Northeast.
Joe, it's a good point. I saw somebody writing about this today that was saying they need to go back to the boring, no-mistake offense. I don't know if that's the right answer. I don't think there is a right answer. How about this? Jalen Hurts needs to play better. Is the reason why they had the conservative offense? Why do you think that is? Because that's what the offensive coordinator wants to do. There's not an offensive coach in the world that wants to play a boring conservative offense. So why are they doing it? Someone have dirty pictures of them and they're being made that it's done? No, because that's what they think of the quarterback. Yeah, everybody just see that. All right, what's next?
Those dance moves were very zesty, Ray. Arthur from the YouTube chat.
Yeah, I know Brandon Dutz, our YouTube producer, we were making a GIF of it. So anything that happens in sports, if it's something good, it's going to be Ray doing the Harlem Shake.
Perfectly fine with me. Let it live forever. Dance like nobody's watching, kids.
But I'm telling you, you look good doing it. You're a good dancer. I'm telling you, I can see why women like you now, Ray.
I do like to have fun. It's I know it's something that's very controversial when you listen to me on the air. I do enjoy a good time. I know it doesn't come across.
All right, we're almost out of time.
Last one.
Right.
My big concern is the players are in a weird situation where they're not playing loose because of the atmosphere with the coaching staff. If Hurts has been following the play calls, it's time to stop and play off instinct and audible the narrative. Neil from Havertown.
It's a great comment. And you know what? I'm going to write this down for tomorrow. We got 20 seconds left, but that's the show. That's YouTube chat recap. Is Nick Sirianni causing everybody to have a bad vibe? Does it start with Nick Sirianni and everybody's like spooked because he's such a maniac? We'll talk about it tomorrow. Coming up next. It's the guys. We'll talk to you tomorrow. We're back tomorrow. Amy Fadulin tomorrow. We'll talk to you then. See you.
Now on 97.